easily offended. This is not the show for you. There's one other thing I had to tell you. Oh, yeah. I've been doing this for 50 odd years. I'm in my last couple of years. I'm actually in my last couple of weeks. Last time I saw my oncologist, he said I probably have only got weeks to go. So talk of being absolutely brilliant. I might do half an hour of the show tonight, but I'm told, hang on just a minute, don't go away. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I'm told that those two scruffy people at the beginning are being, well, hang on, just a minute, hold on. Ah, right, yeah. Auditioned. They're being auditioned. There's nobody else available to take over. But if you hear a thump during the program, it may have been my last breath. I don't know. I hope it isn't. I just thought I'd throw that in so you can feel remarkably sorry for me and not shout at me. Over the 50 years, I have interviewed and chatted to some of the most amazing people. It may have been you. Maybe we'll catch up for the last time. So 0344 499 1000. Let's talk about the invasion of this country. Let's talk about what is going on at the moment as far as the problems in the Middle East are concerned. I mean, Iran is trying to bring the whole of the country to a third world war. We've got Bryce Norton, of course, to worry about. Sorry, my darling carer is with me. Yes, darling? Assisted dying. An assisted dying? Well, listen, I know if I could, yeah, no, thanks, darling. I have to have my carer, who I'm absolutely married to and love immeasurably, because I've got tumours everywhere. My primary cancer, everybody talks about cancer now. It must be getting more fashionable, is in my kidney. I have virtually no kidney, whatever, what is the word? Function. Function, yeah. I've got no kidney function, which is affecting all kinds of bits of me, and I'm filling up like an old woman with, well, it could be an old man, actually. It doesn't have to be an old woman. Sorry, I'm sorry, darling. Like a balloon. Like a balloon, because there's nowhere for the moisture to go. I'm full of moisture. I'm very moisturised. So I've got kidney tumours that have led to, what is the word? What's the word? Oedema. Oedema. I'm oedeming. And I've got a couple of brain tumours, tumours in my bones, in my lungs. And you've also got Paula and Paula? What are you talking about now? Sorry, I can't do it without her. I really can't. And tomorrow we record the podcast called Tales of the Wales. Oh, dear. Oh, Paula in Halifax. Paula, are you still there? Paula, are you still there?
Of course I'm here.
Oh, right. Sorry, Paula. I was going on a lot then. I am sorry.
No, it's all right. Hello, Mrs. W.
Hello, Paula.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
Me, I'm good. I'm learning lots of new nursing skills.
Yeah. Are you coping okay? My heart goes out to both of you. Honestly, it really does.
Are you coping okay?
I am. I've got the best patient, the loveliest patient you can have.
Listen, that's a complete and utter lie.
Oh, that's good.
She moaned earlier this evening. No, you didn't really moan. I because of my brain tumour, I kind of I'm not myself, so I might be nice to too many people.
Remembering things.
No.
Yeah.
And your brain just goes a bit funny.
Yeah. Oh, James.
Don't worry. Listen,
I don't know what to say to you, but
well, let me tell you. Listen,
enjoyed.
I may only have 2, 3, 4 programs left. Okay, and I've spent 50 years doing verbal and visual combat with the listeners and viewers. And really what I want to do over the last few weeks that I'm actually able to do it, obviously you can tell it's affecting my voice as well.
I know, I can tell.
I just want to thank people for taking it the right way and enjoying it. I mean, we can't always do things the way people would like it. And some people don't have a sense of humour, do they?
No, I've got a massive sense of humour, and I've always got you. Where some people don't. Some people think you're nasty. I don't, and I don't think you've got a nasty bone in your body.
Oh, I have. Honestly, my brain has sent me to a...
He hasn't, Paula, he hasn't. You're right.
I wouldn't go that far, Paula.
Exactly.
But whereas
You know,
I'd normally say in a conversation like this, Paula, I'm bored stupid with you now. Can you go? And
I just
you
say,
laugh,
okay, speak next week.
you know. And I miss that, guys. You'll have to say that louder. Because I'm in Winchester, Chester. Okay. Well, I haven't quite finished with Paula yet, but I'll write Chester
No,
down.
thank you, James. I wanted to ask you a question. Are you in pain now?
No. I mean, my voice
Yes.
sounds like it is. And I don't want to turn this into a really serious program that makes people upset,
No.
but I'm
You're
under.
having this.
Can I say that the
Hospice.
the hospice that I'm under are absolutely amazing.
So you're on drugs.
And yeah, I'm on quite a few drugs, to say the least. I've reached the stage. I've
morphine.
Morphine, yeah, I'm on morphine.
And fentanyl.
And fentanyl.
I don't know that one, but I know morphine.
Yeah. And I'm managing okay. And obviously they do have side effects, as we all know. But listen, we'll be able before long to say I won't, because this assisted dying thing is ridiculous. I'm going to have to spend, if I was going to live that long, the next 4 or 5 years waiting for them to argue, where my wife has no quality of life, really. Not really, darling. You're looking after me.
Oh, she
Not
does.
quality.
I'm honoured to do that. I'm honoured to do that.
Oh, don't be silly.
No, honestly, I'm not. I don't want you not.
I spend a lot of time now. I was always known as a bit of a tough nut, and I spend a lot of time crying, and it's a bit embarrassing, Paula, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, don't, James. Don't.
But I know it's my.
You've got something to cry for, and Mrs. W is your wife, and she adores you.
Exactly. You know. I don't want him to go anywhere.
And I've got my doggies.
I know you don't, Mrs. W. What doggies have you got? Have you got 2 new doggies?
I've got 2 new ones.
And
that also needed rescuing.
Oh.
They needed rescuing, didn't you, babes? Yeah. Paula, thank you for that. I must move on. Otherwise, of course, I'll get into trouble. I won't get into trouble, but, people have tried. Paula, thank you very much indeed. Now, Chester isn't the name of the person, is it? Pete in Chester.
Hi, James. Wow, I'm just.
Don't be, Pete. Let's get to the point. Come on, baby. What do you want to talk?
Yeah, okay. What society do we live in where we give billions of pounds to illegal migrants, and yet the majority of hospices survive through self-funding and charity work? Absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Do you know, I hadn't even thought that through. What a very, very good point. That is such a good point.
What the hell is going on? I'm getting a bit upset now because I lost a good friend a month ago through cancer, right? He went very quickly and he didn't make the hospice. And I just don't know what is going on in...
we don't have people who have any kind of affinity with ordinary people. We have people now who over the last 20 or 30 years became professional politicians, which means they're more interested in the job than what it does. And the job being a politician is trying to get, this is in my view, I'm not saying, this is That's the dishwasher. But what I do think, brain is going a bit now, so we'll have to get it back. What I do think is that we have people more interested in their so-called political careers than we have in actually bringing the country together. And that's wrong. We need people.
But Pete is really right that the hospices are so underfunded.
Yeah. No,
Crazy.
you're.
One of the six biggest economy in the world, and we have got people in hospices doing jumble sales to raise money to keep people alive. This is, I'm sorry, James, I'm getting upset because this is ridiculous.
Listen, if one person in authority gets to listen to what you're saying today and it makes a change, that's great. That's a really, really good thing.
Because you know, I don't get it anymore. I don't
Nor do I.
get it.
And you know, we're living in a very dangerous time. We're living in a time where it would take somebody pulling a funny face in a particular position of authority to kick off a nuclear war. And much as I admired Donald Trump and his saying, I'm going to fix this, I can fix this tomorrow, I can do it. Unfortunately, everybody forgot to take in the fact that we have a lot of extreme nutcases who believe in other worlds, other existences, other lives, and they think that by dying you just move somewhere better. It's a very, very difficult thing to handle and to fight. Peter, thank you very much.
Very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Very. Please don't be too miserable. I think we'll take a break there and come back right after these words.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
It is indeed. Welcome. Oh, guys, it's not even funny. You know, you put a picture of the Pratt up, and I know you want to keep him in people's minds, but until he learns to shave properly, get his hair cut, and dress properly, it's not on. By some guy called Richard. We got the whatever, did we? I thought you said mention him. Anyway, somebody wanted to know if we got something they sent. If you send something, please, I donate it to charity. is very sweet of you, but it goes to charity. And because I'm obviously, as you can see, not often in the office. But thank you very much anyway. I'm sorry, and I do apologise for that picture of Ash. I'm trying to have him made up, but welcome to the programme. Let's talk to David in, looks like Maryland, but it can't possibly.
Marbella.
Marbella. Go glad Mrs.
Hello.
W is with me tonight. David, hi.
Is that James?
I beg your pardon?
I said, is that James? Because it's not on the screen at the moment. The reason I'm calling...
David, mate.
Yes.
Look, you're ringing, you want to talk, okay?
Yes.
Well, you must know me, so I would presume
Okay.
it's me.
Right, let's explain. I used to be your opposition in the 80s. When you was on Radio Air, I launched Pennine Radio into a 24-hour station, and I used to do the late show at the same time that you did the late show on Radio Air. And I just felt compelled to say hello.
Well, it's very nice of you to say hello, but I should really tell you to go and do one, seeing that you were my competition and trying to take my audience away. What's your name, David?
David.
Dave, it was Dave Nixon in those days.
Dave Nixon. Gosh,
Yeah,
we are going back a long, long way, you know.
We are a long way. Yeah.
So what happened, Dave, when obviously you didn't stick with broadcasting? What did you do?
I stuck with broadcasting until the middle 90s, and then, I ended up on the BBC, on GMR, Greater Manchester Radio.
Nothing to boast about. Ending up on the BBC, I mean, honestly. I keep that really quiet. If I were you, I would keep that really, really quiet. How long did you work for the BBC?
For 8 years, yeah. And then I went into business in different categories. I'm becoming an entrepreneur, and
Have you?
I'm in the real estate business out here in Marbella these days. But I'm 69 now.
Oh, that's a spring chicken. You want to wait till you get as old as me.
How old are you now, James?
Older than you.
Okay, fair enough.
Quite a bit older than you, in fact.
Well, there we go. Well, I don't want to take time up on your show. I just wanted to say hello because it's a long time ago, and you were like the Mr. Nasty guy, and I was like the Mr. Nice guy at that time on the radio.
Were you always nice?
It was good fun. Sorry?
Were you always Mr. Nice Guy?
Most of the time.
Oh,
I used
good.
to do a lot of on-air phonings and competitions and things like that at that time.
And how long have you been off the air?
Well, it was about 93 when I left. Yes.
Yeah. Well, people will be grateful for small mercies. In the meantime, thank you very much indeed. Lovely to talk to you. Let's talk to Clive in Essex, I think. Clive. It's Oliver in Essex.
No, Oliver in Colchester.
Essex is in... Will you stop it? Whoever you are in the studio, shut your mouth. And you, stop it as well. Colchester is in Essex. I happen to want to say Essex. Otherwise, all those other people who phone from little places, not that Colchester's a little place, will want me to get the... and it's making my life more difficult. So I'm
Well, talk to Oliver in Essex then.
Oliver in Essex, you're on the air. He has no sense of humour. He's a particular prat. No, he's got no sense of humour. Right, let's go and talk to Mel in...
He's in Banbury.
Okay, well, let's talk to you. Hello.
Hello.
This is one of the not a problem. We get around it. One of the things I'm just doing. I am doing this program on an iPhone. Nothing else. Nothing plugged in. I am doing it on an iPhone, In fact, tomorrow I do a podcast with the beautiful Nadine, and we do a podcast about what it's like to live with an idiot like me who's got cancer, and to have cancer, what it's like to know that you're not going to live for much longer. And we do it just from an iPhone. And do you know, just you make me think of something I want to talk about, and that is these ridiculous. I watched Question Time last night. Absolutely appalling program if you're a production person on it. Yeah, I can't believe you all. The topic you had last night was, should we ban 16-year-olds from having iPhones? Should we ban? How the bloody hell are you going to ban somebody having a phone now in this day and age? You can't do it. All you're going to do is cause problems within a family. What we need to do is teach people how to make the best use and how to properly use new technology. And anybody think you should ban an iPhone? I think that's stupid. What do you think? 0344 499 1000. Sorry? What did you say?
What's Keith want to say?
About who?
Keith.
Yeah, I know. I was just talking about something else.
James,
Keith.
you haven't lost. Hello, Harry. I know how you're doing. I've been keeping an eye on you, but it's nice that you're still out there making the word. And when you was talking earlier about the amount of crying that you would do, which is understandable, and the guy came on and he was obviously very emotionally upset, and it's just reminding me. I do songwriting and poetry. It's just a little short thing I wrote a few years ago, which I thought might be relevant. If you allow me, it's very short.
Please carry on.
Yeah, that is, it's nice to be happy, but how painful is sad. As you're swept through your life, facing good and some bad, it's hard to keep smiling if fate brings you pain, but you must keep on smiling to make your life sane. Just hold on to those moments that are special to you, and if you can keep on smiling, you will always win through. So if sometimes you're down, and maybe have fears, just recall all those good times when it was laughter brought tears.
I couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. The problem with cancer is that it gives you all kinds of side effect problems. And one of them, because I've got brain tumours, one of them, it does affect my emotions. Just a minute. You can't do that while I'm... I could quite easily turn this...
Stop it now.
Smile.
Sorry. Yeah, go on.
I was to say, my sister-in-law died of cancer. My brother was her carer for 12 years, and it was a fantastic thing. And right to the end, she'd got her sense of humour, and she died on Boxing Day in 2021. And he was gutted for 2 years, but he's now moved on with his life, and he got all those lovely memories that will keep her alive forever.
Good. And this is the one thing, you know, I met my wife because her husband and my wife died in the same hospital together from cancer. That's how we met. And it's quite an unusual story. I'm not going to go into it now, but, you know, life goes on. One of the last things she ever said to me was, carry on with your life, find somebody else. Do not stop and give up and moan.
Exactly. That's exactly
where all I do is moan.
That's exactly what's happened to my brother. 2 years later, he's met a lady who's went through the same thing with her husband died of cancer, and they got so much in common as well as their sense of humour, and they're having a lovely time.
Do you know, that's great. Thank you, mate.
Always there for you, James.
Thanks, buddy. Right, where are we going now, guys?
Pull yourself together.
I beg your pardon? Sophie in Suffolk.
Alliteration. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I won't tell you what it, because I'm losing my hearing as well. I won't tell you what it came across. There we are. Sophie, nice to meet you. Hi.
Hi, good evening, James. I'm very good to hear you on the air. I was just wondering, I heard something that you said before about ISIS brides, and you were very forgiving and very good about that, and I think you had a really good perspective on it. And I've been watching some horrendous things on YouTube, as you do in your spare time, and I'd just like to hear your take on it, because you were so completely dimensional about it, and you were very good about what you said, and I'd just like you to reiterate what you said about it, forgiveness and everything.
We're talking about the young girl, aren't we, that left here and went somewhere else?
Yes.
Yeah. And everybody's refusing. They took her nationality away and refused to let her back into the country and everything else. Now, I have got absolutely no time for the kind of thing that she was groomed into. You know, those people in ISIS and other organizations are absolutely disgusting. The people who went in on October the 7th and carried out that massacre are absolutely appalling. You know, what I said was that we're washing our hands of a woman who is our responsibility.
Yes.
You know, and what should have been done, in my view, I mean, I'm not saying this is definitely the right view, but my view is that she should have been brought here. She should have been investigated. She should have been given a prison service sentence. The fact that our judicial system doesn't work very well is a big problem, Sophie. But she should have been brought back here, and we are responsible. Having somebody go away and do something as appalling and as atrocious as what she did, but then we wash our hands of it and think we're not involved, is completely stupid, because we are involved. We, for whatever reason, she began to think like that, being brought up in this country. And I'd have absolutely no sympathy. You know, the people who are out there fighting at the moment, the people who are out there hiding behind doctors and nurses and schools, who are fighting what they call a war, are the lowest of the low, in my opinion, and they need dealing with. But I don't think we can just say we're washing our hands of this one, nothing to do with us.
I agree, and what you showed was compassion to those girls who had probably...
No, well, don't get me wrong, I've got no compassion for them at all, none. If they learn their mistakes while we're re-educating them, then fine, we will have done the right thing. But I think it is us that needs to do the re-education.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to clarify that with you. It's just I don't agree with what they did, but I think that at the end of the day, there's forgiveness, isn't there?
Oh, I would find it very difficult to forgive people who thought it was all right to decapitate somebody else.
Oh, no. I
For their
totally hear what
thoughts.
you're saying. It's just taking it back to the level of the family and how they love those girls and they want them back. And you know, it's your
You can't. Would you love your child if they did that?
Well, I mean, they wouldn't do it in the first place, to be honest, because I've actually brought them up and they wouldn't do that. I mean, they just wouldn't.
Good point.
But it's a difficult one. But I just remember you talking about it in a compassionate way, and
Yeah.
you know,
Very good point.
There is a forgiveness somewhere. I'm not trying to be Christian or atheist or whatever. I'm saying that at the end of the day, we're human, and it's quite tough, isn't it?
You know, making me think about it now, a few years on, I'm beginning to wonder how some of these people's minds work. Some of the guys who, because quite frankly, they're not human beings. And I think calling them animals does not do animals any favours at all. These are non-human beings who I think really allow the human race down as well. Are you coming up here to say hello to everybody? No?
That's a tricky one, but thank you for answering that.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Come on, guys. When I say goodbye to somebody, play the call out. 0344 499 1000. Because you've got a lot on your hands to train these people up, haven't you, Chuck?
Whaley, next up we have Tan from Dudley.
Pam from Dudley.
Tan with a T.
You're on the air.
Oh, hi, James. How are you?
Pam.
Can you hear me?
What can I do for you?
James, I just wanted to say You have always made my weekends very entertaining on talkTV, and you are an absolutely amazing person. I actually, if I was next to you now, I'd hug you. Honestly, I genuinely mean that.
I hope you're good looking.
Well, I would beg to disagree, but anyway. But I'm really, I know you don't believe in God. I respect your atheist way of living. That's fine. But I do, and I will pray for you. And yes, do me a favor. Please get Ash to have a proper haircut.
It's not that I don't believe in God. It's that I don't believe in the being that everybody seems to want to fight over or pay homage to, that seems to have a very nasty side as well. Oh dear, oh dear.
Sorry about that.
I respect your belief. I respect your view.
But I do believe that something got us to where we are.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hopefully one day will find out. But I think that unfortunately at the moment, religion has been taken over by weak people and mad people, and it's used as a form of control.
I agree with you. I absolutely do agree with you. There are people who interpret things in ways which are very dangerous or lead to very dangerous things, and that's what we're seeing on our screens these days, day in, day out. But, you know, it is unfortunate the way the things have turned out over the past year. I mean, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I don't know about yourself, but I couldn't even imagine the situation we're in now. I couldn't have imagined it then. Because you sometimes believe that, you know, life is going to be a bed of roses. And these last couple of months have clearly shown that it's not the case, unfortunately. But, hey, listen, there's always hope. And
there's always hope.
Yeah.
And there always could be the creative force. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. Some people, including my brother, who I love dearly, actually believe that they do know, and I hope he does, because what he believes, I think, is good. But there will come a time, you know, people go on about how we're messing up the planet, how we're doing all these terrible things, but there will come a time, and because of the way it is, as far as I can see, there'll come a time when human beings it's not the place to exist.
I agree.
We'll probably move on and be somewhere else.
Hopefully somewhere a bit better.
And we can all have some fun and be nice to each other. That would be good, wouldn't it?
That's a good.
Yeah, and do lots of drinking. That'll be better.
Well, I'm glad.
Perfect to me.
Perfect for you. His name is Ian.
Nice to
when I'm not here anymore. She's a very thoughtful lady, but does like to. What are you drinking now? You put something wrong in it, didn't you? I was watching. Did you put jam in?
I'm having a Manhattan.
You were having
I'm just having a Yorkshire tea.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
that's
lovely. I may well have a Yorkshire coffee. Or a little coffee.
Is there such a thing as a Yorkshire coffee?
Actually, I feel like...
I was going to say, is there such a thing?
No, I don't think there is.
I'm originally from Yorkshire. I was born in Sheffield, and that is as Yorkshire as it gets.
Well, you are, yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe I better have a non-decaf coffee if I'm going to have anything.
Non-decaf, so calf.
Or a couple of...
normal. So that would be a normal coffee then.
I'm going to have a cup of tea. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to have a cup of tea.
Have a Yorkshire tea.
I'll do a decaf.
The only one we've got in the house is Yorkshire. Oh, no, somebody did send us some Melton Mowbray. No, that's the wrong...
Fortnum and Mason.
Fortnum and Mason's tea.
Oh, we've got to take a break, James.
Very nice indeed. Listen, you take it easy, my friend. I've got to take a break. If you want to call us 0344 499 1000. See you right after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Oh no, you're making me feel sick every time you show him on the screen. Why are you doing that, Chuck?
It's automatic. It's how it works. Anyway, we've got Michelle in Liverpool.
I know you have, and I'll go to her in a moment. Do you like my little spotty dotty coffee mugs?
Is that your non-decaf coffee?
Yeah,
Is this non-decaf?
it's fully non-decaf.
Oh, God. I don't know what it is, but it's bloody hot. That's
That's
for
a
sure.
very small cup.
Yeah, nice though. I like that. Very small. I can drink more of them, the smaller they are. Okay, right. Michelle in Liverpool. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, you okay?
I'm all right.
How
What
you
can I do
doing?
for you, Michelle?
Yeah, I've missed you a little bit. I just want to say how much we're going to miss you, because you're very controversial, but that's kind of what we like about you, giving true opinions about everything.
Where have you been,
And
Michelle? Why are you late? What have you been doing?
what have I been doing? I've been helping my mate set up his flat. He had a stroke. It was about 2 months ago, so I've cleaned up his flat. Well, it's not a flat, it's a house.
You see, there are good people around, Michelle. There are nice people.
No, I've done some curtains for him, put them up, took his fridge freezer out, microwave, got him new ones. Just tried to help set it up and that. But all I'm saying is, I was there that night when you were getting off, and I was going, come back, and I know I was doing your head in a little bit, so I'm sorry about that. But
Well, that's okay. We're friends. Listen, Michelle, we're friends again now. Okay?
All right. Well, all I'm saying is, I wish you the best of luck, because you are a good broadcaster, and I really do wish you the best of luck.
Well, that's really nice. Thank you very much.
Take care, James.
For that, lovely. Thank you. I suppose if you haven't, I've been talking about it for 5 or 6 years. 25 years ago, I was working actually here for Talk. They were owned by somebody else, and I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, and I had my left kidney out, and I didn't think about it much. I probably should have done. If you've had cancer of any kind, you must be checked regularly. I was checked regularly at the beginning, but 20 odd years later, it came back, and I'm now in the last stages. You know, could be a couple of weeks, could be a month, who knows. Mind you, they said that 5 years ago, and I'm still here. But I can tell you by the way I feel, and I can tell you about the warm weather and all sorts of, which I'm not going to go into. But I am heading in. I'm heading into the sunset, and I talk about it regularly on the show. And you know, it's interesting because now everybody talks about it. Not me, not mine, but their own. You know, they don't feel that they're doing it quite right without having a cancer to talk about. But we do. Nadine, my wife, or Lady W, as she's better known, and I do a podcast every week called Tales of the Whales. And if you're in a similar situation, I'm the one with it. She's the one who's got to put up with it. Then please have a listen. Tell us what you think. Right, where are we going now? I've got another quick break and then
in
the calls.
Merseyside.
I didn't hear what you said then.
Lowry in Merseyside.
Lowry.
Lowry and Merseyside. Lowry, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, James. I was very moved by when you said the bad funding for hospices. I used to do a minimal amount of fundraising for my local hospice, Willowbrook, but I've got a suggestion. The talk radio set up a Just Giving page in your honour to fund hospices.
Well, that's certainly a nice idea. I'll have to have a word with them, but I think until I've made my life journey, probably it won't happen.
But I know that I am going to do a lot for the hospices looking after us. When I have more time, when I'm not looking after you so much, that's where my time's going. I am totally going to be focused on raising money with the hospice. That's
Yeah, because the lady earlier made a really good point.
Hello, James. Lots of love.
What on earth is going on there? Anyway, thank you very much indeed. Right, bring me the engineer.
Next up is Rocky in Weymouth.
Never mind about flipping Rocky in Weymouth. What was all that bollocks?
Oh, I'll pass you over to Dave, the engineer.
I believe she had the radio on in the background, even though she'd been told not to.
Yeah, well, Dave, you are not obviously being tough enough, are you?
Apparently not, no.
No, so please, in the future, make sure these people know where it is.
Indeed, I will.
Good man, thank you very
well done,
much.
Dave.
Thank you.
What for? Messing me about. 0344 499 1000 is the number to call.
Oh,
So
we'll
I
take a
played.
break now, James.
Okay, just a minute. I played you. Did I play you my little piece from the BBC when I worked there about Fanny?
Yes, I've heard that. It's filthy.
No, about Fanny Craddock, the chef.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Oh, good. Okay. It's just that I had that problem slightly earlier where I couldn't stop myself from laughing.
Shall we go to a break?
Well, I was waiting. I thought
Tumbleweed moment. Yes,
Yeah.
let's do that.
tumbleweed moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back up.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, let's go to the coast because I feel like a bit of fresh sea air. Rocky is in Weymouth. I used to have a dog called Rocky.
Hello, James.
Rocky, what can we do for you?
Hello, James. I've always wanted to say hello to you since I was about 12 years old. So
Well, go on, have 12 goes.
Can I tell you a story about when I first saw you on TV?
Go on then.
Well, when I was
I
about
hope you're listening to this, Chuck. You are the producer. Yeah, go on.
When I was about 13 years old, I was watching you on the James Whale show, and past my bedtime, I'm probably going to get told off, but I remember you talking about glow-in-the-dark condoms, and me and all my mates were having a laugh the next day, and I thought it was one of the best nights in my life.
Oh, really? That's really nice, isn't it? Yeah. And I vaguely remember it. We had them on the show, and then I think we used to give away a box of condoms, and people had to do something for it. I hate to think what. And we used to call them James Whale's late night entertainment pack.
That's it. Yeah.
And they made money. People bought them and sold them at school. Do you realise I get into so much trouble for that now?
Well, I never sold them at school, but I was at past my bedtime.
I wouldn't use them now either. Rocky, thank you very much indeed. Nice to talk to you, Rocky in Weymouth there. Yeah. All right. Can we squeeze one more call in because I know we're almost at the end?
Yes, we've got Aid in Hampshire.
Aid in Hampshire.
Hi.
Aid.
Hi there,
Hi,
Mr.
Aid.
Whale, Mr. James Whale, the man, the myth, the legend. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I've been listening to you. I've been listening to you since the mid to late 90s when you were on Talk with Ian Collins' Creatures of the Night, the Geezer, people like that. And you have been an absolute legend in the broadcasting world, sir. And
you know, time does go by quickly.
Go on.
Time goes by quickly.
It does indeed, but I didn't ever hear about the James Whale's late night packs, which your last caller just mentioned. I never heard about that one.
I haven't seen one for years. Otherwise, it would be my pleasure to send you one.
I might have been a little bit too young back at that point, possibly.
I think my program would have been taken off the air had Ofcom operated with the rules that they do now.
More than likely, sir. But no, I'd just like to say, James, it's an absolute pleasure, and long may this continue. I love how you're doing this now on a Friday night. I love how the technical team have now got the graphics sorted with
well done, technical team.
with the James Whale, and not giving all the credit to Asher and the other one. I love Asher, but this is your show on a Friday, and long may it continue, sir. God bless.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. You are very nice. Thank you. You have no idea. I've had a really bad week this week, and tonight has cheered me up no end. We've come to the end, sadly.
We've got one more call, James.
Oh, well, one more call.
Yeah, Jill in Wales, big fan.
Jill in Wales. What part of Wales, Jill?
I don't really want to say what part, if that's okay.
North or south?
Well, no, I don't want to be that particular.
Okay, doesn't matter.
Hi.
It's fine. Go on then.
Hi, James.
Hi, Jill.
Hi. Am I talking to James? Doesn't.
Yeah, that's James. Definitely James, Jill.
Oh, okay.
But not for long.
Jean. Thank you. It's just that the skies above me tonight are very busy with Typhoon and Hercules planes, obviously there's something going on. So I don't really want to say what part of Wales I'm in, because it's not a well-known place.
Jill, the problem I have at the moment is I'm running out of time. We're going to be heading into the news any moment. But are you worried about this? Is it worrying you?
Well, no, I just want to say, I mean, the horses, I'm on a farm. The horses are frightened. Obviously, there's something afoot with the War Office or whatever, because this is so abnormal. I mean,
well, listen, I'll tell you what, let's put out a call. Anybody knows, people watching or listening in Wales, if you've seen something going on there or if you heard something, give us a ring, 0344 499 1000. Tell us what you think it might be, or maybe you know what it might be. Jill, thank you very much indeed. Good to talk to you. Thank you for that. Engineer man, how long have I got? I'll just wait here and say nothing, shall I?
All right, mate. How you doing, man?
30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. How you doing, man? Yeah, she'll probably be she'll probably be in North Wales by Lake Ballard, one of my favourite places.
You like Lake Ballard,
and there's all military jets, so you can chill out, and suddenly a typhoon swoops.
Well, will you keep an eye open on the news, or there's a?
I certainly will. I certainly will.
And make sure that you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah,
he keeps shouting in my ears. It's very bad English.
Yeah.
What did he say?
50 seconons. I can count you down. Don't worry about
50 seconds. They get really worried because if they crash, not crash, but they go into one bit of the programme in the wrong way. I should have taken another call.
You've done well tonight, though. You've done the whole hour. It's brilliant. You seem a bit better than a lot better than last week and the week before.
Yeah, and I felt really bad. I didn't think I'd be able to do half an hour.
No, it was brilliant, man. I enjoyed it. It was like the old James. I mean, where was that Ash bloke? He really makes the show. He's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he's changed sex and he's trans.
Yeah, I know, but he's got a cervix. He's had a cervix put in, so it all counts. David Lammy did it. Oh.
Night, night.
See you later. Bye, Lady W.
Bye,
we'll be back. Me and Andre will be back after the news in 2 minutes. Don't go.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is talk.
Oh, yes. That was the woke that was, which we're doing on the James Whale Show on a Friday night from now on. James, he was on form tonight, wasn't he? Doing his first hour. It's getting a bit morbid, if I'm being totally honest, but I guess that's the nature of the beast. Right, I want to read out a message that I got earlier today. Right, now, I'm not for 1 second decrying the issue that's at stake here, but I've got a friend of mine from university who's an Asian gentleman who's a little bit intense. Right, just to explain, he's a little bit intense. So he messaged me to say that he's very concerned that he wants to help out campaign on grooming gangs. Excellent thing to do, can't complain at that. And he said, I think that we should work together, Andre, to get justice for the victims. Once again, I agree with that. He said, the thing you don't know is because I'm from a Sikh background, I've known about this problem ever since I was a child, but everybody shut up about it and didn't talk about it. And I said, definitely, let's have a conversation about this. Busy week for me because it's Royal Ascot. I'll phone you after that. And he said, well, I think it's a bit more important.
Yeah, I agree with him. It's more important than Royal Ascot.
So here's the response I sent him. Given that you've just told me that you were aware of this 35 years ago, I'm really reluctant to cancel my weekend's plans on the basis it has to be done the next. Can you imagine saying to somebody, I've known about this for 35 years. Oh, well, I'll call you Sunday. How dare you go out on Saturday? Do it immediately. Look, I'm not being funny, pal. There are two types of people. There are pioneers and bandwagon jumpers. And I would strongly suggest that
Did you go today to Royal Ascot? Was it on today?
No, I'm going tomorrow with our next guest, who is Danielle Nicholls. Yay! Danielle, welcome back.
I'm back!
From the late night
From
phoning.
our late night phoning.
And children's ITV.
We've got to, well, we're not being
I'm
interested.
trying to not be too excited, but I am actually genuinely excited.
It's very exciting.
Can I also point out something else that's glaringly obvious?
What?
You are super brown.
No.
Yeah, and Andre is super white. Are you trying to take...
I had to do me own...
and ivory.
Is it because you're taking over my role as the tanned one? Is that what it is?
It's because I just picked the makeup that I think's right and it's normally wrong. But, you know, I've been in the sun today.
Right,
Can I say, though, as well, I was listening to James's show, and I know you...
It's a bit morbid.
It did make me cry a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. It's
it wasn't
stirring
that bad.
emotions. Just the
I
beginning.
didn't say it was bad.
At the beginning, he made me cry, and I just thought, he's clearly very poorly, and he's still here.
He was good tonight because he can't normally do the hour, so something's up. He's doing all right, man.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, look, I've got a fun story to start with.
Right. So what we do is with this hour, we go through. So all of us have looked at stories that we are going to nominate as our stories for the week. So when I say that, what I mean is the producers have handed us a pile of stories, and we will pretend to have gone through them. Right. What Danielle's actually done is just turned up. Right. And then they've gone. There's the pack. Just pretend.
Pretend you found it.
By the way,
do you know what? We're good at winging it. Go on.
Talking about pretending things in TV. I was watching the other day. Now, Keith Lemon or Lee Francis, who presents on Virgin Radio, made a joke on his TV show about the way that on Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway, the prosthetics and makeup they put on them for the undercover stuff is not that convincing. No. It just looks like Ant and Dec in a wig, right? And he hinted that Ant and Dec would know. The victims would know it was Ant and Dec. In your experience in TV, if somebody phoned up your agent and said, we want Danielle to be on Saturday Night Takeaway for an undercover sting, would they A, go, yes, I'll play along with it, or B, go, I'm not willing to do that unless you inform my client? And then what happens afterwards is a negotiation on how much you pretend to be taken in for the purpose of the show. Danielle, you're nodding. That's what happens, isn't it?
I do.
Well, you don't. But you can't know for sure, can you?
No, you can't know. What I do have my own little story about Saturday
but as an example, imagine you went undercover with Alexis Conrad and discovered that he's an arsehole, right? I mean, that would be. The agent wouldn't do that. They go, oh God, no, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't.
In my experience, I imagine. I don't think they say this is Ant and Dec as such, but
they didn't look real.
No,
I remember at the time thinking that's ridiculous.
You will be pulled to one side maybe by your agent to say, like, you've got, just take this seriously. It'll make sense at some point.
But Danielle, there was an Ant and Dec undercover thing where Dec was dressed as a cat and pretended he'd had plastic surgery to look more cat-like and went on the Jeremy Kyle show, and Kyle pretended that this Declan Donnelly looking like a cat was not actually Declan. Well, it was obvious.
Jeremy Kyle is in the building. Why don't you need to ask him, don't you?
I'm scared of him.
Very intimidating.
I'm scared of him. Also, the other thing is about Jeremy Kyle, I don't know if you've noticed, that he's had his teeth whitened that much to actually blue under the studio light.
Like Daz, the blue. Do you remember on Beatles about? He always used to come on with a copper with a big black beard, and so you knew it was... But they all used to go...
Everyone knew when Beadle came on with his beard, that it was obvious, and it was a policeman.
It was always that same thing.
And they'd go...
Oh, you bloody devil!
I met a bloke who was man from the council from Beatles About, right? And he said that what they did was they started off getting letters in, but in the end, and I don't want to be disrespectful to our friends in Essex, they said they just used to go round council estates in Dagenham, Hornchurch, Romford, and all these places just going, hello, would you like to be on Beatles About? And they go, yeah, all right, my husband's just had that new roof installed, repossess it. And so,
they were good, the Beatle About things, weren't they?
You come over here, over here, I'm going to fab you.
They knew that most of them were in on it. It was only over one or two people
who
weren't
in on it. Do you remember the alien landing, the UFO landing?
It made you sick, thinking they've just crushed his car.
Yeah, that was funny, that. Do you remember the UFO landing and the aliens?
Yeah.
It got and they still fell for it, and she was talking to the aliens and all that.
The Saints say this, say that.
I thought the best one was when somebody gave a lift to the person pretending to be President Reagan. And they said to the wife, "Oh, just stay with the limo, right?" And then the police arrived. The limo had been nicked. Right? She was like,
"Have you seen the new show, Beatles Not About? It's not as good, is it?" Anyway,
watch out, he's not there.
The homeless Swan Whisperer. This is a man in Hyde Park. A homeless man known as the Swan Whisperer has been banned from Hyde Park after ramming a woman with a bicycle.
Yeah, thank you. I was glad you carried on there.
That's even worse. In a row over the birds. Anders Fernstadt, an area, I don't know if you can see, he's just huddling and snuggling with swans.
Does he have clothes on in that picture? No, I'm just checking.
I'm sure he's got
he talks with the animals.
He's got pants on.
Oh, he's got shorts on.
He well, I don't know that. Right. He cuddled and kissed the swans in central London, but he only first base. Fernstadt had become a well-known figure in the area, having set up home in a doorway of mansion at Rutland Gate in Knightsbridge. Well, a gateway in Knightsbridge is probably 300 grand, complete with a bed, plants and books. Generous neighbours had provided him with a range of items from designer clothing to a $5 grand Fortnum and Maid's hamper.
Do you know what?
That's what you get as homeless in Knightsbridge.
If you're going to be homeless, though, be homeless in Knightsbridge,
and kiss the swans.
Yeah.
Only with their consent.
The number one thing, I mean, imagine you're homeless, you're a heroin addict, you're really struggling in life. Would you like a $5 grand Fortnum and Maid's hamper? I'd rather have the money, if I'm being totally honest.
As long as I can flog it.
Because whilst this fig chutney is excellent, it's quite hard to trade for crack.
Well, at least he wasn't eating them, though. A lot of people eat them now.
Swans?
Apparently
You're
the
not
meat.
allowed.
Well, I know, but people come over and they
aren't they?
Apparently the meat's black.
They're not all owned by the...
Yeah. No, it's not racist.
They're not all owned by the Queen. Half of them are owned by the Worshipful Company of Watermen, I think. And
are you actually serious? People eat the swans. Are you serious?
People people from abroad. It's a delicacy.
The royal family have been eating swans for years.
Yeah.
Really?
And Oxford University, they have banquets with the swan on the tray. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, what is a 9-bird roast?
It's just a duck.
I don't know, because it's just weird, isn't it? A bird inside a bird inside a bird inside a bird.
It's like that trick. It's like that Christmas trick, the pregnant turkey, where you stick a chicken inside it and you go to the kids, "Can you put the stuffing in the turkey?" And they go, "There's something inside." "Oh, it must have been pregnant."
Oh.
That is filth, isn't it? That is horrendous.
That's the kind of joke you'd pull.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Although my dad at Christmas, he always does his leg and breast jokes.
Oh.
Would you like it? Do you like some tasty
I like a bit
present?
of leg, yeah.
Like, oh, come on. Would anyone like a magazine while Dad goes through his...
Have you noticed how chicken breasts don't have nipples? Interesting. Roy in Hampshire.
Yeah, because they don't breastfeed.
Oh, is that why? Oh, you've spoilt the mystery.
Chickens don't breastfeed. They feed them little worms and stuff, don't they? Regurgitated worms.
Why do they have breasts then? What's the point?
No, chicken.
You would only need nipples if you were feeding.
But why do you need the breasts?
Breast doesn't mean tits. It means
the front
chest.
part of the bird.
All right.
Oh my God! By the way,
I'd like to see chicken breasticles.
Yeah.
Do you know
Do
what
they have breasticles?
Do you know what they say now? Do you know what they say? They used to say in the past when the dinosaurs became extinct. Do you know what they tell children in school now?
Go on.
When non-avian dinosaurs became extinct because birds are dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah, birds are feathery. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So
and dinosaurs have feathers as well. Didn't
Ray,
they?
dinosaurs have
I
feathers.
think so. Roy in Hampshire. Come on, Roy.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Andre, would you let Ash and Danielle get a word in edgeways?
No. Oh, thank you, Roy. That completes Roy's contribution. Okay, he's waited for about
Roy's
15
done.
minutes for that.
He's done.
Okay, so Danielle, what's your next story?
We've got the lollipop man. The lollipop man that was banned from giving children high fives because it upsets drivers. A beloved lollipop man has been told he can no longer give high fives to children as they cross the road. Neil Cotton, who's 57, assists primary school and secondary school pupils in Howden, near Hull, in East Yorkshire, and claims he's been instructed to stop the friendly gesture as it's, get this, not because there's anything wrong with high-fiving kids, because it upsets drivers having to wait another 10 seconds.
It's not. They're not high-fiving right then because you can run past and
Could
do
it straight away,
And
quick.
he's the third one that's lost his job for it. I think it's
Neil,
some
who
sort of-
operates a bustling junction knows Cross Keys Corner, expresses disappointment, saying, I do the job for the kids. I love bringing them a bit of joy and brightening their day. He added, I have support from locals and all the kids love a high five. Of course they do. It's important that a lollipop person, because it's not a lollipop... my grandma was a lollipop lady.
Yeah, it was in my day.
Yeah. It's a lollipop person around here, and the road can be chaotic with vehicles as it's necessary for their safety. The decision has sparked outrage among the parents, many of whom took to social media to voice their support for Neil, saying the decision is over the top and absurd. And one parent commented, I think it's wrong. Why shouldn't he? What's wrong with it?
It's also a fundamental misunderstanding of the role of a lollipop man or lollipop lady by the council, because the purpose is he's not just there to help children cross the road safely, he's there to encourage them to cross at his point.
Yes.
And he is friendly to them in order to encourage them.
And it means a lot to kids.
Especially high school kids.
Exactly right.
So high school kids, my grandma had the same thing. So my
What,
grandma
you mean
was a
secondary
lollipop...
school kids?
Yeah.
You don't have a lollipop man when you say...
Well, exactly, but she used to make friends with them. It was on the corner where her shop was, so she'd come out of her shop, they all knew her.
Good for
and
business.
she'd make friends with them all, and they used to try and just walk, and she'd anticipate
the
it
thing,
and go
isn't
like,
it?
just give us a minute, guys.
When you're at primary school and you're 5 and 6, if they sack the lollipop, because it's an important person in your life, you haven't been alive long, and after like 3 years they're gone, it's very traumatic for the children.
It is.
But the reason why a lollipop person is not a set of traffic lights in a Pelican Crossing is because of their skill at encouraging children to go through them, and high-fiving them and chatting to them is part of the job. So my argument would be...
And let's not say and undervalue the fact that he stands and waits. The lollipop man has to put, you know how it works, don't you? He has to put the lollipop end of the sign. I only know this because of my
What do you
gran.
mean?
He has to, so the lollipop stick stays upside down. You know
and
this,
then
don't
they
you?
put it upright, yeah.
And then when they lift it upright, you should, this is actually in your highway code.
Yeah.
That's when they're basically beckoning for you to stop. So they hold, if you look, they actually hold the lollipop the other way. And then you're saying, wait a minute, we're going to look if it's safe.
Exactly
I've put
right.
my stick up. You are actually teaching children.
Well,
to
you're
cross
risking
the
it. I
road.
wonder how many have been killed in over the years.
What you've actually done is you've recruited a bloke there who knows how to do the job, is doing the job well, and you're actually asking him to do an inferior service because it's
Because
better
it's
for the drivers.
upsetting
It's
the
not
drivers,
better for the
yeah.
drivers because if the children are not encouraged to go through him, they will cross all over the place.
And then if a driver takes away a little child, they'll never get over it ever again. I know, so it's ridiculous.
And even if they don't, it will slow down the journey time because they'll be stopping here, there and everywhere.
Well, exactly.
Utterly stupid. Now, I want to ask you, Asher, because what we do in this, we have a competition. I think that for the most ludicrous story of the day, I think that has to go in. I think the Swan...
Well, we've got a few more to go through. So,
all right, so that's in.
That's in.
Okay.
So let me go with my one.
Right.
Oh, the problem is I don't think this is going to get into the most ludicrous story because we've heard
Why?
it that many times.
Oh.
The BBC slaps another beloved sitcom with a woke trigger warning as 5 episodes flags for discriminatory language. You are not going to believe this because this is stupid. It's literally about a bloke who says the wrong thing. It's The Office.
Yeah.
Apparently, the BBC have slapped another beloved sitcom with trigger warnings as 5 episodes have been flagged as discriminatory language. The Office, the hit mockumentary sitcom created by comedians Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, famously stars Ricky as a paper company boss, David Brent. I mean, he says all sorts of things. But, I mean, what was it?
the point of it. That's what makes it
It's taking the mick out of races. It's like the Alf Garnett thing. You mock the races. You mock it because of a silly... They don't get it. They've got no sense of humour, these lot. No,
yeah, it's literally, it's supposed to be, and I think it's said explicitly by the comedian Doc Brown, who played his sidekick in the film Life on the Road. He said explicitly, it's about a bloke who doesn't quite get it and wants to be famous, right? So he uses the N-word in Life on the Road. It's because he's heard black people saying that to each other and he thinks that's a way of being in with the kids, right? Do you know what I mean?
Like Equality Street, that song he did. Equality Street.
Oh, yeah. Equality Street. Take a real ride down Equality Street.
Anyway, another story. Pension.
Okay, but I think
it's not good enough. No.
I think that's not good enough because we've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
Asher, before you go to your next one, why don't we go to a break?
Good idea.
Let's do that.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, we were just having a debate as to whether the country of Turkey has changed its name. It did in 2022. It changed it from the English thing to one in Turkey. But can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Why is Turkey named after Turkey?
I honestly have no idea.
That's where they invented the turkey.
So, okay. So, first of all, Turkey is a country that's run by Turkmen slaves from Turkmenistan. That's why it's called Turkey.
Right.
But the next thing is, people used to eat... Right, this is...
Turkish delight.
No, people... There's no way of saying this without it being horribly rude.
Oh, no, go on.
People like to eat cock, right? Hen and cock.
Okay.
But there's no other.
I get cock soup.
There's no
Have
other.
you ever had
cock
soup? It's
There's
a
no
Jamaican
other
dish.
way of saying it. And so Turkish traders found that they were importing from, I think, somewhere in Asia, a type of bird which became known as turkey cock. Now, of course, because of the rudeness...
They don't have cocks.
Because of the rudeness of that word, of course they do, it's a male bird, right?
But they don't have nipples, they can't have
they
cocks.
were the man turkey.
So now we eat hens, they used to eat cocks.
Birds don't have cocks.
Right, don't be ridiculous.
They don't. Have you ever seen one?
Right, we're not talking about penises. Right, the slight problem
We're talking about a male.
Yeah, the slight problem is
turkey.
But male birds, male fowl now give the word. Now give the word. Male fowl are called cocks. Right?
Isn't fowl female though? A fowl has to be female,
right.
doesn't it?
So look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at the producers and never tell my turkey cock story again.
Don't tell it
because it's just not worked.
Is it
So basically, they ate a certain kind of bird. And it can't be named after. I'm not having that.
Turkey
Google
cock.
it. Someone Google it.
Yes.
Google it. I think he's making it up.
The bird called turkey is named after Turkish traders who imported it to Europe.
Right. Okay.
It was called the turkey cock.
Okay.
Where did they invent the chicken then? Where did they invent
the chicken? What came first?
That place called Chicken.
No, they're all from. Aren't they all from places like Vietnam,
Chickens
and Cambodia?
Are they?
Place like that,
Not native to here, obviously. No.
I'm not sure.
Right, there we go. Right.
We have news flash, extra story.
Yes, but the slight problem is the person that said Turkey's changed its name at the UN. That is true. It changed it in 2002. It's great. It's great. We're all right on the beating pulse.
They've just changed the spelling. It probably.
All they've done is they've changed the name of Turkey to Turkey, because that's what it is in Turkish.
Why don't they just shorten it to Yay?
Yeah, because that spelling is how they spell
like
it.
Kanye, yeah.
That's how they spell it. So they must call it that.
Yeah, I hate all this. Oh, I use the word because that's what they do in their own country. Have you noticed that the BBC have rebranded Pakistan?
I know, and I've listened
Asia.
today.
Have you heard Asia?
Asia
and Pakistan.
Iran. Are we Iran now?
And Kyiv.
Kyiv.
Yeah, Kyiv.
Chicken Kyiv.
Let's go for a chicken Kyiv. Yeah, absolutely.
But they don't call like Parry. They don't call that Parry, do they? Call it Paris. So you got to be uniform. Call it the British name.
What about
Londres?
Vladimir Zelensky? I mean, I wonder if his name has ever been Vladimir. Just wondering.
Give us the planes.
Give us the planes. What did he say? In your country, the king is a pilot. In our country, all pilots are kings. Yeah, it's not the best line I've ever heard, though, Vladimir, if I'm being totally honest. Right, okay. That was the woke that was, which we brought back as a segment in the show. We go through the craziest stories of the week, but we are stopping the show for a little bit now to listen to Yasmin, the teenage witch, who is going to...
The middle-aged witch.
Well, it doesn't sound as good. And she is going to read the future of Danielle Nicholls. Come on, Yasmin.
Hello.
Look in the eyes, not around the eyes.
Danielle.
Hello, my darling. How are you?
I'm fine, sweetie. It's the summer solstice at 3:45 this morning.
Right.
Are you going to get sky-clad? Are you going to get...
Wearing gold, saying thank you to the sun for everything he does for us.
Yeah, the sun's been great for us,
Yeah,
hasn't
they're
it?
a couple of floors down, the sun,
I did worship the sun this morning.
What?
Fabulous.
She's talking about going sunbathing.
You look glowing. You're glowing.
Thank you.
Glowing. She's like. Can I tell you? She's the Sarah Ferguson of talk. She spends more time on holiday than she does doing anything else.
Do you know what my grandma
said? You need
said?
a holiday from holidays.
My grandma said when I said to her when she was getting on and she wasn't very well, I said, "Grandma, what would you do if you were going to live your life differently?" She said, "I'd have gone on holiday more." That's all I'm doing.
Does she work all her life?
I'll tell you what. If I had my life again, what I would do, I would redo my driving test. I'll be honest with you. Oh no.
Come on.
She came from nowhere. No, she came.
You don't drive because you can't drive.
Let me tell you.
Mic drop. This is fantastic.
She just honestly, she came from nowhere. It wasn't my fault.
Oh no!
There was a small accident, but
of course there was.
The lollipop lady wasn't that badly injured.
Oh
if
no!
I'm being totally honest. No, she wasn't. All I did was just clipped her ever so slightly. No, but she wasn't injured.
I'm glad you don't drive.
No. Yeah. I always think there's two types of cars. There's one that you command yourself, and there's one that somebody else commands. Yeah. And they're better when you're drunk. If I'm being totally honest.
You're better.
Anyway, Yasmin, what's your prediction for the future for Danielle?
Well, I did see Bahrain for her for some reason.
Okay.
That's in the past.
I also saw her being...
Well, that's a bit loud.
Oh, I can't hear because of the music.
No, the music's too loud. You've just drowned her out.
We've lost her to the music.
No, you haven't lost me,
She's losing her powers, man.
What? I've never lose my powers. I've stoked for that, or else you'll use all your powers.
All right, well, let's not have a Power Ranger battle.
And you haven't got that stone of Elat yet, which you need.
A stone of Elat.
He's got 2 stones of Elat. Believe me, I know girls who've been
Who needs a stone of Elat? You do?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh.
I used to go there. Yeah, it's a
Stone
nice
of
one.
Elat is Solomon's stone, and it was there to help people.
I'll buy you a stone of Elat right now.
Energies around them.
Well, yeah, I had my great grandfather was a guy called Ezekiel Solomon.
Well,
look, I'm not being funny. Sorry, Jasmine. Having a relative called Solomon, if you're Jewish, is not the biggest achievement, is it? Yeah. It's like saying I've got a relative called James, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Let me just explain something. Ash, if you've got a relative called Solomon, it means that your family line is from King Solomon.
Yeah, and I'm related to the gangster Alfie Solomon in Peaky Blinders. Through that family. All Solomon without an S are related.
That's cool.
Wow.
From Whitechapel.
But you just need to get the suits like Peaky Blinders, and you'll be topping
I've got
it.
a cap. I've got the flat cap with the razor blades in.
You'd be a good Peaky Blinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danielle, you're going to Bahrain.
Got a better Birmingham accent than them.
Oh, that's
I
rather
also
nice.
saw Paris for you. Paris.
Paris?
I also feel as though that'll be some kind of, you're going on a chartered flight somewhere, a special chartered flight. I also feel you must have changed your bedroom round or something in your bedroom.
Bloody redecorated. She's redecorated that house about 8 times.
You've got a new bedroom you're sleeping in. There's something to do with new property again for you. I also feel for your husband's career,
go on.
Something's going to be changing around November.
Well, that happens every couple of weeks with him. He's in the football business.
You understand? November.
Okay.
And they're telling me to remind you of the Bailey spell you did. It needs redoing.
What?
No, me 2 bay leaf trees at the front have both died. They've lived for years and they've died.
What does that mean, Yasmin?
What does it mean?
Well, usually that's when somebody's doing magical spells on you, and then just overnight they die.
Oh, you haven't watered them enough.
What you need to do... No,
They've lived years not being watered enough.
I've got a bay tree in my garden to keep evil at bay, who are people who are sending him there. So what I'm going to say to you now is you need to get 3 bay trees, 3.
Okay.
Put them in big pots.
Why three of them?
What will happen is if you put them in a big spot, they'll be less likely to be damaged by a magic spell, and also they'll have more soil and space for water, which might have an impact as well.
No,
but bay leaves are magic.
Trinity, the maiden, the mother, the throne. 3 is Trinity, is protection. The other thing about bay leaf trees as well is that when you can burn bay leaves in your home to cleanse your home of negative energy.
Yes. Yeah.
Also,
like a sage stick.
I do. I burn bay leaves. They crackle.
I feel as though one of your children are getting a certificate that's going to be brilliant for them, and one of them...
Children are going to get a certificate? Oh, come on.
She's got loads of children.
No, I know what she's saying, because my second eldest has just done his GCSEs.
Yeah, but every year one of your kids is doing an exam.
Done really well.
Every year one of your kids
Can I just say something? One of your children is absolutely crazy about...
Yeah, but the big advantage... Sorry, Yasmin, let me just say, the big advantage of the GCSE... Yasmin, give me a second. The big advantage of the GCSE system now is that they've changed the mark scheme so it's incomprehensible. So if you said...
No, as long as they get a 4 or above, they pass.
No, but if you said to me, he got 5 1s or whatever, or 5 9s, right, I wouldn't know whether that was good or bad.
You'd say that's an A star. A 9 is an A star.
Well, no, but if you said...
an A star star, double A star.
If you presented me with the certificate going, my son has got 7 1s, I'd go, that sounds fantastic. And you go, 9 is the lowest.
Yeah.
Right, just...
I know what you're saying.
I was the last O level
But
year.
they know. The college system know. That's all that matters, isn't it?
Danielle, for your property, start looking up about the Fae, F-A-E, fairies. Also, I can see somebody around you who's a bit whimsical, having purple hair.
Is it Phyllis from Coronation Street?
I feel as though you're going to get invited...
Hello, love, how are you?
You're going to get invited to, well, it's not a coven, it's more of a group of people who are spiritual.
Yeah, it's like Alcoholics Anonymous or something.
Will they be sky-clad?
Andre, what I saw for you is I still see the linen trousers.
I'm not wearing linen trousers. I'm not wearing them.
Well, you might go commando, you.
He will, just because he's not washed any undies.
And the other
Listen, as I always say, you don't have to worry about washing your underwear. If you turn them inside out, you can wear them for another 4 weeks.
Oh, don't.
That's any problem.
Can I just say...
Hold on, Yasmin. What are you going to do at midnight at the solstice? Do you have to get sky-clad and go to, like, some old stones? What do you do?
She gets some bark and puts it over a private part.
Do you have a ceremony in half an hour?
Well, to be honest with you, it's about lighting a bonfire in my back garden. And,
oh, really?
Will your neighbours complain about that at this hour?
Well, she could just ward them off with evil spirits.
Listen, I was doing a ceremony outside the front of my house, and this guy stopped in a Ford big car thing.
Mondeo.
And he was videoing me doing my ceremony outside front of the house naked. So I don't care. I do what I want. Anyway,
naked, Yasmin?
Yeah, it's the best way to get the spells working.
Eden, we were all naked. And by the way, you know the apple that they said Adam was tempted with the apple? It wasn't even an apple. It was a walnut. And it was the left and right hemispheres of the brain.
It all makes sense
left
now.
and right hemispheres. But Andre, for you, I do see a lot of sex. I do
A lot of
see you can have
sex?
a lot of sex.
Who will?
With Madam Palmer and her 5 lovely daughters.
I also feel, I've got to be honest, I also feel you're scared of loving again, but you will love again. I also saw a white Jack Russell by your leg.
No.
So that's showing there that
I'm not having sex with the white Jack Russell. It's not happening.
Yasmin, do you know what this person, what they're going to look like that he's going to have sex with?
Yeah, very hot, or Jack Russell, but one of the two. Right, Yasmin.
Well, the person, he has already met the person.
Right.
It's you.
It's me.
He met them about 6 weeks ago. What month are we in? June?
What, 6 weeks ago? Middle of May? Early May. Who did you meet?
He met Sunday, he's seen Sunday, he's had a relationship, he's definitely...
I met Richard Tice.
That's
it. Yeah, got it.
We've got it.
Got it. Go on, Oakshot, get back to Dubai.
No, they've just told me something, Andre. Oh, my goodness. Now, this
I'm not
sounds crazy,
dating Richard
but I
Tice.
tell you-
Can we just be clear on that? No. That was made up.
It's very informal.
The spirits are talking.
Yeah, we're just friends with benefits.
Andre, you're getting a stalker.
I've got
You're
loads of
He's not.
stalkers.
He's not. I can tell you he's not.
Oh, yeah, honestly, it's going to be crazy.
I love stalkers.
Crazy, I love it. I hope you've got a Ring doorbell, that's all I can say.
Is the stalker going to be the lover?
No, this is somebody who's got, like...
I haven't had a stalker in a while, actually.
I'm telling you, you're getting a really good...
Somebody contacted me to pay for sex.
What, you paying for his
Well, they actually
sex?
contacted
Did they want you to pay for the sex?
No, they want to pay me.
No, they...
What were they like?
And I said, well, it was basically, I just said, they said,
don't laugh,
I
Yasmin.
walked outside the nightclub and somebody went, will you come back to mine, I will pay you. And I went, no. And they went,
You didn't say how much.
I've got
Richard Tice.
I went.
I'm sorry, someone once did that to me, and they said, and I said, how
You
much?
didn't need to know how much.
Yeah,
but
out of curiosity.
it was a recently emigrated Romanian waiter, right? And I said, he said, I have got the money, and I went, the good news for me is, so do I, and that was the end. But I didn't check what my commercial rate was.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, that's funny.
I would have loved to have known what my commercial rate was.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
I thought it would have been.
Found out, man.
I thought it would have been like a bite of your bite of your kebab and the bus fare home.
Is that a euphemism? Is that a euphemism?
What I was going to say now, Andre,
Yeah.
I think you look fabulous now. I'm glad you've got Danielle on. Will you please get her on more?
Yes.
Amen, yeah.
Can I be honest with you? We are going to bring the weekend back. We're going to bring back
We are.
the Saturday
We're
night.
just going to try and
Saturday
we're just going to
night
keep
phone-in.
rocking up on a Saturday night until.
I'll tell you what, Saturday is covered by Saturn, which is a
Is it really?
energy. So is Russia. Russia's ruled by Saturn.
Right, can I tell you what I'm actually doing? Can I tell you? Oh no, I'm not going to tell you. I want to give it as a surprise to everybody.
Okay.
But I've started studying again.
Okay. Are you writing a book? Because you were writing a book last.
I'm thinking. So I couldn't decide whether to learn a foreign language
Or write a book.
Or write a book. And I got accepted to do a creative writing master's degree at Oxford University.
I remember.
Which I was quite keen on doing.
Yeah.
But this one is studying at the University of St. Petersburg. How good is that?
Andre, I told you
You've
you'd
got
write
college.
a book.
What do the spirits say about that, Jack? What do they say, Yasmin, about him?
Say,
Well, to be honest with you,
Moi, j'enchaîne dies.
to write a book as though he's talking at a dinner party and writing witty repartee about important people.
You're good at that.
Andre needs to do.
Is there anything about machine guns in my future?
He needs to learn Chinese as well.
Oh, wow.
I've got a great story,
As
Yasmin.
long as he never gets behind a wheel of a car
Yasmin,
again.
I've got a great story. I've got a great story about my uncle, who wanted to learn Chinese.
Go on.
And he walked in with my mum to a Chinese restaurant, and he went, "Don't worry, Loretta,
I've got
this." Right, and he just went, whatever he did, right. And the waiter listened intently and went, "If you ever say that to me again, I will kill you. Get out of my restaurant." And he thought he was ordering from the menu.
I like that.
But apparently somebody told me, and this might not be right, but hi means hello. Hi means something else, and hi means
it's the way you say
woman's lady garden.
Right, so there's different intonations.
So you can
go into a building.
Actually, going into a building.
It's that posh place in London, SW1, and you're going into a house. It's got about 5 steps going up.
House
they're
of
all
Lords.
marble, and you've been invited in there. There's railings round it as well.
No, I'll tell you what's happened. Nigel Farage has won the election. Nigel Farage has won the election, and we've all been drafted as peers.
You what, Yasmin? What? Say it again.
Viscount Gould.
I don't know if you heard that.
No, I missed that. What was that?
Right, you go into a house, SW1, they're showing me.
Yeah.
They're showing me marble white steps going up with black railings. You're getting invited there with another male who's quite tall. Oh, it's a family link. It could be one of your sons.
Oh.
And it's to do with this, it's to do with
Not the swan molester.
It's to do with business. And also, I don't know why, but they're showing me a phone, so it could be telecommunications.
Yeah, he could become a BT engineer.
Yeah.
No, it's to do with, I can't say that word on TV. It's to do with intelligence, I'll just say that.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing-
Yeah. I'm going to be a spy, man.
It's spy stuff.
With intelligence beginning with M. I also feel
Mossad.
around you, Ash.
McDonald.
The only problem is, be careful, Yasmin,
MI5.
because it could be 2 countries.
Listen, Andre is taking you to the Houses of Parliament, Ash.
I will do if you want.
And the other thing is, Danielle,
yes.
I still see that royal connection and Buckingham Palace.
Come over here,
around
Danielle,
you.
and sit on my
How's your
knee.
charity going, Danielle? Tell me about your charity.
Oh, so she might have something
she
here, you know, because the guy at the meningitis has gone and separated, and he wants us to
take
be
over.
involved. Yeah, so I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but yes, that's interesting that you say that.
You know,
Very
you know
interesting
too
that you say
much.
that.
Danielle, also, your mother could do with a spa day. It feels like she's a bit drained at the moment.
Oh my, no, I'm not joking, Andre. Literally, I said I was going to take her to this nice gym and we were going to do the spa experience because I said that'd be
Yes, but
really
the problem
good
is,
for
if she'd predicted for the next month you will not go on holiday or go on a spa day, that would have been a quality prediction.
To be fair, that would be.
Yeah, but you're like a northern...
I literally spent this afternoon at a spa.
You're a northern footballer wife. They all go to spa days,
That's all
don't
we
they?
do in it. We just go spa days.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all she ever
I'll be
does.
honest with you. If you had to have sex with Wayne Rooney, you know, you've got to pamper yourself, haven't you?
She's not old enough for him.
Andre, remember when you were in a discussion to do with your career?
Right.
Don't accept less when you know you're more.
I think she might be onto something here. There's a couple
And
of
I'll tell
things
you
she's
another thing, Danielle.
touched on there.
You and another lady are going to do something in media.
Really? Can I watch?
And it's going to be brilliant.
Hang on, what did you say we're going to do something in?
You and another lady are going to do something in media together. You're going to get your heads
film.
together.
Loose
and
women.
You're going to do something in media, and it's going to outshine everything.
No, you and Lizzie Cundy could do a whole film together.
Footballer wife.
How much do you love it, though?
Hold on a
Enough to
minute.
do a TV show with
No,
her.
but like a proper...
No, not one of them things.
Can I just say what I'm being
Get your
told?
stabs out.
You're going to do something in media with another lady, and it's going to outshine everybody because it's an authentic programme.
Oh, it could be with
with
Cherie.
authentic
She's your
feelings
friend.
and
Cherie
reality.
Murphy.
Sure.
So I wish you the best there.
Oh, I'm going to contact her.
Well, this
Say,
has
"Do
been
you
a
wanna
great
do a
segment
TV
for the
show
show.
with
There
me?"
we go.
I enjoyed that, yeah.
Danielle Nicholls will go on holiday and Ash will walk into a building. More next.
UK. On DAB+. On your smart speaker. On your smart TV. And on your side. This is Talk.
Okay. Danielle, this was meant to be that was the one there was. What is your next story that you picked? And we're gonna what we do in this segment of the show, we decide one story which we think is going to be the most ludicrous story of the week.
Well, I'm going to go with this story, but only because it's totally topical for me at the moment, and I'm very, very interested in it. So I don't know if it'll be. I just find it interesting. But basically, Pope Leo warned that artificial intelligence could harm the development of young people. The Pontiff, the first American to hold a position, has identified AI as one of the most dangerous threats facing humanity. I don't think this is far-fetched. Pope Leo is waging war against scumbag AI chatbots. The Pope has waged war on the psycho scumbag AI chatbots. Yeah, I don't know why it says that twice. He warned that artificial intelligence could hamper the intellectual, neurological and spiritual development of young people.
Your hair's on your mic, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. He issued a stark warning during a conference of AI and ethics, part of which was taking place in the Vatican, in a sign of his concern for the new tech and what it could mean for humanity. Now, I don't, not to go too serious here, but I was listening to, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but a podcast with a guy called Jeffrey Hinton, they call him the godfather of AI. And he has
Which almost certainly means he wasn't involved.
He made multi millions of pounds. And now he's kind of done a U-turn and said it needs safety, and he's quite worried about it.
It's not going to happen because we're against. There's actually a weapons war. China aren't going to give up, and Russia. There was actually a kid that killed himself. He was talking he got a relationship with a female one, and the female one come and join me, you know, in the whatever, and he killed himself. This young kid.
AI, I've got to say to you, I've bought quite an expensive AI thing. I won't name the company, but my AI's a liar.
Yes,
it is a liar. It's a big liar.
But at the moment,
it talks absolute garbage.
But it's coming on leaps and bounds. Now, these are the things that concern me. We used to have Google, and we used to be able to look through pages and pages. We'd ask a question and there'd be numerous answers. Now there's a condensed answer that AI has decided. I don't know if anyone's noticed when they Google now, but it's condensed answer at the top of the page, and we instantly read that, and that's the answer.
We've always
a worry. That's a concern.
We've always been sceptical about people. As an example, if you ever read an article by Simon Walton at the Mail on Sunday, you knew it was just made up, right? So there we go, boom, in there, right? There we go. And you know why I got
You're going to get in trouble again,
but sure, they're already
You're going to get in trouble again. No, but the point is,
me.
I don't think, because it seems like, robots are going to take over the world, I don't think people quite realise the seriousness of it. Now, I completely agree. You cannot now try and backpedal and take it back. It's there, it exists, right? But what he's saying, and what people who are in the know are saying, is that there's a need for safety. They need to...
It's not going to happen, though.
I know, because guess who's exempt? Guess who's exempt? The government.
The military and the Chinese and Putin. If you stop, the others will take over the world. But I mean, there was this one now. They've got their own mind. They don't even know how it's working. The scientists and this scientist said, "Right, I want you to power yourself off," and the machine refused and said, "Dave, you're having an extramarital affair, Dave." So they're actually blackmailing the actual scientists now. They've actually worked out how to...
I think
going to hell in a handcart.
My big problem, and I've had arguments about AI before. In fact, there was one particular fruity one in this studio, but my argument is this. As long as we accept that this is a tool to help you, right, and we don't get obsessed with believing everything we read on it, then that's fine. So I've got this Perplexity AI, Christ, I've now just named them, but I ask it questions all the time, and it gives me a summary of what's on search engines. Now, if what's on search engines is garbage, then it will give me a load of garbage. But actually, it's not a bad starting point. I'll tell you what I like.
But I think you're underestimating exactly how much AI will be involved here. Because it's not a case of just looking on a search engine.
If you look at...
It's running a healthcare system. It's making decisions within schools.
But that's good. In the medical, it can read an MRI scan in minutes.
Very much so.
But if you look at my argument with YouTube, when YouTube... I've told this story loads of times. YouTube took $7,000 off me on the grounds that there was fraudulent traffic. And there was no doubt, and I even have internal Google Google documents that says this guy's definitely telling the truth. The problem with it was the reason that that YouTube and Google wouldn't back down and wouldn't admit they were wrong was because they were unwilling to admit their system was fallible.
Yeah.
Right? That's where you come into the problem. So what I thought was going to happen when it took $7 grand out of my account, I thought I'd just phone up a human and say, hey ho, never mind, and they go,
oh, sorry about that.
Objectively,
Yeah.
that's what's happened. What they did was they did the computer says no, which is very fortuitous. If you
Can I just say, though, something that came up with me, because this is really interesting and topical for now. When I was listening to this, and it was 2 hours, right? We're talking deep. I got really into it. But what I realised was that things like this, people watching stations like this, is actually a very, very good idea, because we have to follow rules. We have people.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We have Ofsted. We have guards.
We don't have Ofsted.
Well, we have
Ofcom.
Sorry, Ofcom.
Off what?
We have.
We don't have Ofsted because that would make us a school.
Ofgem.
Right.
That would make us a product company. No, but basically we have these systems that guard us, and what I realised was more and more, and especially our children who don't watch this kind of stuff, who don't watch regulated television, more and more there's absolutely no rules in place.
But isn't there another problem? Isn't there another problem?
We have to be fair.
Isn't there?
We're not allowed to be biased. We're not allowed to be an echo chamber.
No, I'll tell you what we're allowed to be. We're allowed to be, and it's more important than anything else. Wrong.
Yes.
Right? Here is the big problem. You go, what I have read or what I've seen must be right. If I have an opinion one day on something, it must be correct. Asher will tell you, I've sat here before today and I've blown hot and cold on the Israeli Defence Force. I mentioned that because it's been a topical thing recently.
And it's okay to change your mind.
I don't have a problem with one day criticising them and the next day being nice about them, because I might be wrong.
Keir Starmer, he does that.
Not just that, but I've realised that you, as a person, and both of you are very much like that. Like, it comes across because you're large personalities that you're not, but you're not. Both of you are normal people. You can have normal discussions.
You've got to be flexible.
You can be wrong. Exactly.
So the thing is, if what happens is your AI system says the way to reduce cancer is to shoot 400,000 people who are in a danger zone, as long as a human goes, well, that's obviously ridiculous, the risk is you get the spods at Google going, well, that sounds reasonable. And where it becomes the ultimate problem is
By the way, he praised Google because he worked for Google, and he said, actually, as a company, their ethics are pretty good.
Well, okay.
So he had quite a lot of...
Tell that to them people in China who want to Google something.
Here is your big problem. Here is your big problem. When you read AI modelling, which tells you should place an entire world under house arrest, that you should forcibly vaccinate people, that you should destroy your economy. When the algorithm tells you to do that, what you should say is no.
Yeah, but soon there won't be a middleman. The AI will just do it itself.
He told us a very scary story about your money within the bank and how...
Yeah. Well, it doesn't exist, money in the bank.
Well, exactly, yeah, but if it's in shares and how those shares... OK, there's an element of liability within the bank, but then should the shares be sold, once they then belong to somebody else, they're absolutely gone. And he spoke about how... I mean, you're talking about a guy who's a multimillionaire.
Well, look at Bitcoin.
We're not, but...
What about Bitcoin?
I'll tell you where the biggest risk comes. The biggest risk, and I guarantee you, people watching and listening to this show are going to be stung badly on this. This whole thing where your investment company writes to you and goes, we're an ethical investor. What that means is we are identifying what the best investments are, and we are not investing in them. We're investing in things like, EV car companies
Do you know
that
what
don't
I
work.
think's
And what
gonna be the worst
will happen?
thing?
I'll tell you what will happen. You will go to claim your pension in 20 years' time, and you will discover that it is half what you would have got if you weren't with an ethical investment.
They've already
That's
banned...
if it even exists. But I think a worse thing than that, I think that AI itself will, because it always will be used for bad, unfortunately, but will design scams, and there will be scams that will pull on our emotional strings, and I think they will get more and more and more.
Well, what about the chief executive who there was a Zoom deep fake, Zoomed one of his colleagues and said, can you transfer 20 million?
They're already doing it.
Yeah,
and some companies now have banned Chinese electric cars from you putting your phone in. You can't plug your phone in.
But I've had to say to my dad, like, if anyone ever pretends to be me, like, I'm in trouble, Dad, because obviously there's a lot of my voice out there.
But now when you call him up, he just puts the phone down, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just hates me. No. But no, Toby, I think people need to understand just how good AI is in order to be able to protect themselves. And I completely agree. Knowledge is power in all circumstances. So the more you're aware of, but I don't think you quite realise, because even now, like, we are half this, half this.
I agree.
We are. This
by the way,
is who we are.
By the way, as a seasoned radio broadcaster saying we are half this and half this, what do you think that? How do you think that's coming across on the radio?
Half phone, half person.
Okay,
sorry.
we will be back in a moment with more. That was the woke that was.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, that was the woke that was the new segment version. Danielle, what have you got next? Come on.
Oh, I'm just...
I know which one it is.
I had to pick this one. You know why? Because it reminds me of you.
It's not the dog farting one. Why?
It's the dog farting one. Okay. Surprise breed, officially. The dog with the most rip-roaring fart. See the top trumpers list. So Britain's smelliest dogs have been revealed after...
Yeah, but they haven't printed the list.
Do you know what, though? I think this is funny, because surely it's about the food that you feed your dog is how smelly their farts are. Because... it has to be. Anyway,
I think we should bring back the word
Rottweilers came coming out on top as the fart that was the stinkiest.
Rottweilers.
Is that right? The giant breed will often, because it eats so much, it'll eat up to 3 pounds of food a day and produce an ear-splitting amount of bottom gas to match, according to Burns Pet Nutrition. But while it comes to the smelliest dog farts, little chihuahuas and border terriers top the Pong chart. So they're the smelliest small dog farts. Is that right?
I had a Jack Russell sit on my lap once at my mate's house, and then it just suddenly all got warm. Warm.
Did it poo on you?
No, it was just a fart. But I mean,
Jack Russell. I had a Jack Russell.
Feeling the warmth of a dog's fart.
Jack Russell farts stink. I just think dogs' farts stink. But I'll tell you this. I'm going to give you this because I feel like it might help you. And you should be doing this.
What?
Activated charcoal can stop you having stinky farts.
I don't fart a lot.
Well, I'm just...
No, but when you do...
You eat a lot, though. And you drink a lot. So I'm thinking...
I've stopped drinking.
Have you? Shut the front door. Yeah. Since when?
2 weeks.
Have you been at Ascot and not drunk?
Look, he looks fresh,
you're going to be fun tomorrow.
Can I be honest with you? Can I go
with you instead?
Earlier, I was out doing Vox Pops and somebody offered me a beer and I had to just throw it back with my lips closed because I've given up drinking.
Do you know what?
What's it went all over your face?
Looks better for
I agree with that.
Your skin looks better for it.
You got beaten
and
up
you'll
as well.
eventually you will start losing weight.
What happened? You got into a scuffle. Someone tried to It wasn't Derek Acora like the Dave Bull situation.
Right, okay. let me read this list for you. Because unbelievably, I've discovered a list of dogs and why they're flatulent.
Okay.
Right, okay.
They're not having a fight.
An English bulldog apparently has a sensitive stomach and food allergies. A boxer...
Because it's heavily bred.
Because its body structure is more prone to gas building up. A pug has digestive issues, right?
Yeah, they would do.
A beagle, apparently, is a scavenger and will eat bad quality food as a result.
All dogs are, aren't
A mastiff
dogs don't care.
has digestive sensitivities and is large, so eats a lot.
They do mastiff farts.
Okay. A Shar-Pei, I don't know what that is.
Shar-Pei.
Shar-Pei gulps air and the air goes into it. Yeah, so that's not that bad.
What about a Shih Tzu always follows through?
A golden retriever. A golden retriever has a deep chest, and its dietary habits are going to cause you problems.
Golden retrievers are prone to put on weight, aren't they?
They've got no appetite suppressant. They'll just keep eating.
Yeah, you have to be really careful.
What about
with
a Yorkshire Terrier has a sensitive stomach. A Doberman Pinscher has a sensitive digestive system, and it's diet related.
Look, the truth is, dogs are smelly.
They just stink.
Yeah, but why do people have dogs?
Because they're wonderful.
They're not.
And because they love you no matter
They're
what.
always excited to see you, aren't they?
Yeah, but
dogs just love you no matter
right,
what.
I am very British. What I would have if I wanted something to love me is you have a child, right? Aged about 6, you send it to boarding school, meet up again when it's 18. Right, there you go. So you get to
what
know.
do you do? Who loves you in that space when it's at boarding school?
The
then?
masters.
The dog.
Yeah. No, just produce another one.
Just have another one in that in between.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what you do if you want child benefit. You can only get it till they go to school.
That's right.
Then you have to have
Does
another
Eton
one.
count? No, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. No, I'll tell you what, talking of kids, I know this is going to be awful. What I'm about to say is going to really upset you.
Go
In
on.
fact, I'll tell you what. I'm going to really upset you after the break because you've agreed to stay on for another half an hour, haven't you?
To be upset
So
by
stay
you,
tuned to get upset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Danielle gets upset,
And we're going to be talking about Uri Geller. It's not real. It's not real. Sorry, okay. 0344 499 1000 is the number to call. We've got 2 slots available, and I think Danielle would like to listen to some, or to interact with some of your calls. So please do. 0344 499 1000. What are you, Loud Danielle?
Yes, at Loud Danielle.
He is at Virtual Ash.
And he is at Andre J.P. Walker.
It's like the old days.
It is.
The old firm have been put back together.
Bangs
We're going to
back
continue
together.
going through some of the craziest stories of the week with Danielle Nicholls straight after this.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is
Okay, this is the James Whale Show with Andre Walker, Asher Gould, and Danielle Nicholls is in, and this is the thing that I'm going to really upset you as a parent.
Oh, God.
Really upset you. So I've decided that for Christmas, my nephews are getting a drone each, and I will tell you why. Because I believe in the next 10 years there is going to be a war, and if you're going to be drafted into the military, it's better to have a specialist skill than be one of the infantry running into machine gun fire on the front line. Therefore, an ability to operate a drone will be a specialist skill and keep you off the front line. I'm not joking. I'm not
However,
joking.
AI developing at the rate that it's developing, you won't be sending people into war like that.
The robot dog.
It'll be a robot war.
They've already got robot dogs.
Yeah, it'll be a robot war.
Do you remember that? Even if you're a bit of a bore, you'll enjoy watching the robot war. Do you remember him? Wasn't it Craig Charles?
But you know, the Americans, they were using originally drones that were being flown by pilots, by proper, American air.
Yeah.
And then they realised we've got the PlayStation generation. We don't need fully trained. And they just go to their base in Vegas, bomb Afghanistan, and then go home like a 9 to 5.
Yeah. But look, I don't know. I think there's lots of different ways. I'll tell you what my dad said to me. He went, if you want the kids to have specialist skills, why don't you teach them how to shoot? Because I'm trying to avoid them being on the front line.
Well, the AI guy said, his advice, because he said he's rich enough that his children don't have to work, but the guy said, what advice would you give to your children? And he said, genuine advice is to be a plumber. It's a job that will be very difficult to be took over by AI in any capacity.
Why though? Because a robot can do it all?
No, because you have to. There's a lot of figuring it out, and it's more the manual of figuring it out.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to physically.
Yeah, but they can physically do that.
No, it's both problem solving and it's dexterity.
Yeah, they say the first jobs to go will be white collar jobs, and then the tradesmen.
Yeah, because the dexterity, anything that involves movement, the robots find a lot more difficult.
Have you seen the Tesla robots? They're amazing. They can do it in a few years, but they do say the white collar jobs are going first, like the phone centres, the lawyers.
Because if you think about it, what we do is one thing: talking. Right, so you can have
our job will be talk.
Yeah, if we get an AI robot, but if what you have to do is walk and talk, that becomes two things. If what you have to do is walk, talk, bend down, problem solve. So actually, I agree with that. But I'll tell you what, there is very much a double-edged sword for this, and it's the Grand Moff Tarkin story.
Go on.
Right,
a Grand Moff.
So in the film Star Wars, that Peter Cushing played Grand Moff Tarkin. You'll remember him from the original Star Wars film. They wanted him in the later films, and so what they did was they offered his estate the same money that he would be paid as an actor if he were alive for his AI version. Yeah. And they licensed him for only that. If that is what happens, then what could be interesting is the Danielle Nicholls back catalogue could be massively expanded, and the estate of Danielle Nicholls could continue to earn money off you presenting 150 years after you were dead.
Well, I don't
Has
know
your
if
back catalogue expanded?
Well, there you go. I don't know if you know, though, kids of today, I see that in motion, because children today are listening to a lot older music from, because Spotify has rejigged it all, and I'm like, this track is like years old. Have they brought it back? And it's
they
like,
don't
no,
listen
we
to
just
albums,
found it.
though. You know, you used to
listen
through
to
the
albums,
album.
and not in order. No.
No.
Can I just say to Catherine in Cardiff, who's been sending very nice messages, thank you very much. That's very nice.
What, she's been sending messages going, no, let's not.
Yeah, come on, behave.
Okay, so look, we're going through this. That was the work that was. Why don't we just say, I'll do one final, and then we're going to pick the winner, and then we're going to go to the calls.
Okay.
Pensioner hit with £24,000 electricity bill, and he's ordered to pay back £2,000 a week. Basically, Lynn Lawler, who owns Grange Farmhouse in Hainford, Norfolk, uses the 5-bedroom house and adjoining annex as a holiday rental for 100 days a year, but presumably she doesn't qualify as being a domestic user anymore, so there's no energy price cap.
Oh.
So she is going to be
despite the limited use...
Mind you, to be fair to her, look at this. Lawler's holiday let, which is available for £2,200 for 7 nights. She's doing all right.
But she gets over £3,000 a month. Is her electricity bill?
Hang on a second, but she's managing to get £2,100 for a week.
Yeah, but the problem is they only get about 10 weeks a year. So it sounds like, because I mean, what you are used to, presumably, is paying for holidays that are absolutely heinously expensive. If you go 1 week outside school time, they go down by like 90.
But 1.5 weeks of that rent is a monthly electricity bill. So she's got other expenses.
Hang on a second. Are we not on Lynn Lawler's side? So we don't want to have net zero, but at the same time...
No, I'm totally on her side, yeah, but I'm just thinking... She's still got a good little gig there, is all I'm saying.
We pay so much more than all the European countries. When you look at the list,
also what
like
should be doing is
3 times
always remember, bed and breakfast equals can't be bothered making lunch and dinner, right? But also holiday let equals can't even be asked making breakfast.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
That's it.
Or making the bed.
All I'll do is make the bed when you leave.
They don't even do that,
yeah. So all right, I'll tell you what. I think what we've got.
But no, you know, I think that the bills are ridiculous. I stand by that. Absolutely extortionate.
I've said when we were presenting together, and hopefully we're going to go back to doing that. You are a television person, television presenter, television contributor. Your husband is a footballer turned football manager. And I don't say this to be. I hope people understand when I say it at home. Even you struggle with the bills.
Yeah.
Right. And I look at somebody who's on an average wage. What is an average wage now? About £32,000 a year. And the energy bill's 800 quid a month.
I don't know how you do it.
And you think, you know, and then we're going, what we need to do is increase interest rates because people are spending too much. It's causing inflation.
Yeah.
They're not spending too much. They're buying the same stuff. Right?
And the food prices are shooting up again.
Are they?
Yeah, they've
don't get me started
They're
on
already
that.
a lot and
Don't
they're
get
going
me
up.
started
I
on
remember
that.
when we were presenting together, somebody criticised you for the cost of your little shop.
I bet they're spending that now.
Well, you've got 4 kids.
Yeah, well, yeah, four kids, 2 adults, and to be fair, it wasn't just food.
And
I
also,
was saying
and
the
they can't
price
afford
of
to move
shopping.
out. The grown-up ones, they can't afford to move out
This is
now.
the thing.
And also, my favourite thing my mate said to me, because I remember doing this when I was a teenager, he said, I'd just sit down on a Saturday night, having been to the shop. I've been to Asda on Friday. Sits down and he goes, have you got any of those Oreo biscuits? No, they're all gone, Dad. What do you mean they're all gone? I only bought them 20 hours ago. And he goes, right, what about the crisps? Gone. What about the cola? Gone.
When we were kids, there was one shop every Thursday, the big shop, and it was challenge extended because you had to make sure you ate it all because you only had food for like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By Monday, it was gone. There were only the rubbish biscuits left.
Well, now you've got that shrinkflation
all the nice stuff was gone.
where the packets are getting smaller and smaller. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
tuna.
Yeah.
Why are they repackaging tuna? They're telling me there's the same amount of tuna in it.
I'll tell you what upsets me. I absolutely love instant noodles. Right now,
I lived on instant noodles when I first started working. I'd no money. That's all I ate. Super noodles.
Right, instant noodles. We all know the front of the packet should be right. The big bit, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
And it stacks backwards. They now stack it that way and only put 4 in a box of 5.
Yeah, I've noticed things like that. Yeah, those.
If you go to that Maggie,
it used to be.
So the front of the packet, you open it up and you imagine that's the front of the packet, but it's the side.
Ooh.
And they just put 4 in there.
You know what else they do? I noticed the other day because
I mean, instant noodles are not that expensive.
No, but yeah, still.
The McVitie's digestives.
Maggie ones are nice enough.
I was looking the other day and they're now putting them in like a presentation box, like they're a gourmet thing, but there's only about 10, so they can charge like that now. They make it like it's a specialist product. You just want your McVitie's digestives.
Do you know what I do with instant noodles?
Dark chocolate.
Go on.
I start off with, I just put some water, then I put a chicken stock cube, then I put some ginger and garlic, put it all together with some soy sauce, right?
Just made it fairly healthy.
Put the noodles inside it, and then when they soften, I put it and I serve it with black bean and crispy chili.
Walker's what?
Hey, no actual meat in there?
No.
Oh, it'd be nice with a bit of chicken.
Ken Hom's Hot Wok.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Are we all agreed, before we go to the callers,
go on,
that the most ludicrous story of the week was the lollipop man who's been told not to do his actual job on the grounds it's irritating?
Give him his job back, man.
So for those, give us a second series.
Smell the cheese.
So just to remind everyone who's just tuned in, this lollipop man was engaging with kids and high-fiving, and they said he should stop doing it on the grounds it's irritating to drivers. And what we pointed out was, Pelican crossings, kids don't use them because they're not fun. The purpose of having a lollipop man is to get kids to cross with him, and therefore he has to engage with them. So they've literally negated the purpose of paying that man. Okay, right, let's go straight to the calls. Let's go to Tristan in Southend. And I'll tell you what we should do.
Yes.
What we're going to do is we're going to put him straight through to you, Danielle.
Oh, okay.
So, Tristan, you're through to Danielle Nicholls.
Hello, Danielle. It's lovely to speak to you after all this time. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I've kept an ear out for you everywhere, but you've been nowhere to be seen. What you been doing with yourself?
Do you know what? I have to be honest. I've had a bit of me time. I felt like I was running at 100 miles an hour. Shut up, you. I felt like I was running at 100 miles an hour, and so I thought, right, I'm just going to tone it back. I'm going to do a lot of, like, mum things with my kids. I felt
she was only doing 100 miles an hour, i.e. the train from London to Manchester.
Shut up,
so she decided instead to go to 500 miles an hour,
Shut up.
the plane to New York.
I've not been to New York.
Yeah,
You
so
lying.
it's confirmed. The weekend's actually coming back on talk now.
It's not. Look, we're
just thinking. Do you know, like manifesting? He doesn't realise. Yeah, you don't realise we're manifesting. We think if we say it enough, it might make it true.
Oh, right, okay.
No. What the reality is, all of these things are permanently under discussion about what's going to come on, what shows are going to appear, what shows are not going to appear. So what we are doing is deliberately winding you up in order to ensure that you will.
Yeah, we want you to lobby for us.
This little group of three on a Friday works really, really well.
It is actually. I agree. It's nice. So how have you been?
I'm okay. I've lost a stone in weight in 1 week.
What? Are you on the old... That was an injection, by the way, for anyone listening on the radio.
I'm not using Manjaro.
Oh, right, okay. Well, good for you.
I'm using Ozempic, actually.
Oh. Are you, though? How you, on a serious note, are we allowed to have this conversation, yeah? How are you finding it?
Well, no, let me just do this.
Because there's a lot of people doing it now.
Let me just do this for the purposes of Ofcom.
Okay.
Let me just say, because then we can discuss anything.
Oh, okay.
If I just say, we are a group of political and entertainment commentators, you must not take medical advice from us. If you take medical advice from a political commentator, you are officially an idiot.
For your doctor.
However, Danielle will now have a discussion with somebody who's on Ozempic or whatever.
Lovely. Yes, so a stone off in the first week, which is quite unbelievable, and I've had flu on top, which has been a bonus.
Is that really the cause of the weight loss?
No, I think it's both.
You're obviously it's suppressing your appetite.
Yeah, big time.
And any side effects?
Well, the weird one is it's probably what it's supposed to do, but you forget all about eating. You forget to do it.
You don't go. Do you not feel a bit dizzy or a bit faint if you've not ate, or are you all right?
Nothing like that. I've got plenty of fat reserves to shift first, so.
Look, I've started doing.
Didn't seem that fat.
Fasting. I fast 1 day a week. I fast for 46 hours 1 day a week, and
that's not 1 day. How's your maths?
I know.
46 hours.
I know. Well, all the way from the night to the day to the very next night of the day. But I found it really helps. But I think the biggest thing it does is shrinks your stomach. So then when you start eating again, you actually can't eat a lot. And I wonder if there's a lot of that going on.
Sure, I think that's what it is. I heard Ash don't look that fat. I'm actually 16.5 stone.
Oh, you are fat.
Yes.
You hide it well, though.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Maybe because you're blind, you just don't know you're fat.
I'm trying not to laugh at the moment because it sets me coughing. Oh, dear.
There it goes. You've made him cough. Now look what you've done.
You've got him coughing.
Anyway, we've arranged your trip to Israel. You're going tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic.
No, you don't want to be going there.
No, if it happens, it happens.
No, it's definitely. Can I tell you? Unfortunately, the trip we put you up for is definitely not going to happen now because of the military situation. Apologies, but we did nominate you.
Yeah, thank you. The thought was there. As long as you have me back on the show in 3 weeks' time.
All right, let's not lobby up. Mind you, we lobbied, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, we literally announced that our show's coming back with no evidence.
We absolutely no, with no say so whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you're doing well, and I'm glad it suits you.
Thanks, darling.
And I want lots of pictures when you're a skinny mini.
Oh yes, you might see me on the telly because Chuck's agreed I can come back on. So.
So he's coming back, right?
No, Chuck's staying. No,
we'll see you, and you'll look fantastic.
He's going absolutely not.
No,
you'll have to get a nice outfit now. You're skinny.
We will see you again.
Yeah. So what we can do is because because we want to see the progress of your skinniness, we can delay your next appearance for the maximum amount of time.
We need a full month.
A week it'll be done with by the next time I'm due on.
Yeah. although there is, I will say, there is one person on this channel, and I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to be critical of them, who's quite not actually that fat, but has been taking Ozempic and now looks like Zelda from the Terrorhawks. You know how the big crinkly face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
how quickly you've got to be careful of the
it might be
fast
a she.
weight loss. Oh, how?
Well, Sharon Osbourne, she went very thin, didn't she?
Oh yes, that's right. She got very ill on it, didn't she, Ash? Yeah.
See, can I tell you one thing? I will never be on Ozempic because my best friend is on Ozempic for diabetes and absolutely has begged me not to do it. Wow. He says it's horrendous. Okay. He says it makes him very, very ill. He says that he fails to put muscle on and is painfully skinny as a result of it. He believes that his muscle growth has been inhibited by Ozempic and literally says, if you take Ozempic, I will never speak to you.
But it does affect different people in different ways. Some people it doesn't actually work.
So just to be clear, my mate is on it because he's diabetic and has been on it his entire life. So he's on it for the...
I think it's a good starter. I think it's a good thing for training you to eat better, for shrinking your stomach. I don't think it should be a permanent
What
measure.
happened with him? He has literally said, I'm not willing to be a parent because I hate having to be treated for diabetes all the time. And when Ozempic came about as something that you would take willfully as somebody who's not a diabetic, he thought everyone would have lost their mind.
Wow.
That is a very different view.
Wow.
Very different view.
Definitely consult the doctor, eh?
Well, I always consult the doctor. Tristan, thank you so much. And
thank you, Tristan.
Just to be clear, this show is a show about talking through people's lifestyle. If anybody was under the impression that any of that constituted medical advice, just don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Just don't. We'll be back in a moment.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is Talk, and I think we should go for the rematch of the century. By the way, we've got one slot available, two slots available, 0344 499 1000. Ken, speak to Danielle Nicholls.
Hallelujah.
Good morning, Danielle.
Hello, Ken. How are you?
I am wonderful, Danielle,
Good.
by God's grace. But this is a very, very sad day for the United Kingdom.
I agree.
Today, our government voted in an open rebellion against God to legalise self-murder. That's open rebellion against the will of God. God declares in the Bible, thou shalt not murder.
Not even self-murder. They'll do it eventually. You know, they'll be deciding, the doctors, oh, their life's not worth living. We'll decide for them. That's what will happen.
By the way, Ken, before you go any further, I just want to make a point to everybody about standards in politics, and it's about to sound like a geeky point. So, Asher Gould has said for the past few weeks, look, even if you're in favour of assisted dying, which I have to say I'm not, I assume you're not either, actually, but even if you were in favour of it, the checks and balances to protect lonely granny don't exist in this bill, and what will happen is they'll be watered down over time. They've literally been watered down that much. The debate in the House of Commons today was not the principle of this. It was literally, Labour MPs had stood up and said, we know this bill is a mess. We know it doesn't have proper safeguards in. We know that half of the medical profession is charitable. More than half of the medical profession think it's awful. The Hospice Association have basically come out against it. Everybody with any knowledge professionally, morally, spiritually, religiously is basically against this. And Labour's solution is this, they said, it can be amended in the House of Lords. I just want to teach you a piece of the legislative process. Amending in the House of Lords is what you do at stage 2. They have said, our final vote on this, stage 3, or stage 3 of the process, reading 3, we are going to vote through something we know is substandard in the hope the other chamber will make it sensible. What on earth?
Well, I think we have a sort of evil government now, and in society it's become a sort of like the eugenics type thing they used to do in the 1920s, and now they're actually saying you can kill babies up to 9 months. That is a living baby.
Danielle sorry, Ken is still here, but Danielle, I'm going to say this to you before Ken comes back, and I'll allow you to comment, and then Ken can. I have to be honest. As a Christian myself, and it doesn't matter whether you are or you're not.
Just a moral person.
Labour have come in, and what have they done? Taken away the winter fuel allowance, so the most elderly and vulnerable are killed, basically.
4,500 by their own calculations.
The big thing you will be remembered for if you're a Labour MP is allowing you to off with the elderly and murder your unborn child at the point of birth. It can be in the birth.
I mean, that's baby murder in my view.
Why is it those three things? Why have they not said?
I don't understand. That's why have they chased after these things? I think I have to be honest. Having watched relatives die very slowly with cancer and took weeks and weeks to die when we were told all.
But I agree with that. But it's not about that. It's about they'll change the goalposts, won't it?
And it's about this. If there's massive safeguarding issues.
So we are going to come back to you, Ken. I just wanted to get that from.
Yeah.
Right, Ken. You've got the floor now. Go for it.
Right, thanks very much. I appreciate free speech in this programme. But what troubled me most about today was, this just as a Christian, a born-again Christian, and there are quite a number of born-again Christians who are politicians in the Parliament. Not one Christian, evangelical Christian, had the courage to stand up in the debate and draw attention to what God has to say to the nation.
That is
Around the Houses of Parliament, carved in stone, is the Lord's Prayer. The Houses of Parliament, the laws of the land, are established on the Bible. And not one of them had the courage to stand up and remind the people that there is life after death, there is a place called heaven, there is a place called hell, and if we reject Christ and turn against Christ and kill ourselves in this instance, the Bible declares you will go straight to hell if you did it in a sane state of mind.
Do you know what I think is sad? Is that I think that people have had such terrible care when dying. I think there's such negligence.
But hang on a second.
That I think this is a weird. But can I negligence?
But can I ask?
Get the NHS waiting list down.
Can I put specifically Ken's point? Because he's right. I mean, I watched some of the debate, not all of the debate. Sir Edward Lee said, lots of people will think that I'm against this bill just because of my religious belief. Of course I am. But nobody stood up and said, this is supposed to be a Christian country. The Bible says, do not off with the... It doesn't specifically say it, but it's kind of implied, don't kill your elderly relatives, right? And nobody stood up and said, hang on a second, why aren't we standing by our principles? I'll tell you what, the only thing that came close, but a completely secular argument, was let's look after the elderly rather than killing them. But it was a secular argument.
Yeah.
But actually, look, whatever you think of Ken, right, whatever you think of him, he is right that there's 650 of these people and a House of Lords and a Crown, and literally Britain is technically a theocracy, ergo King Charles is also the head of his religious denomination, and still nobody has said God wouldn't be happy with this.
Yeah.
There's evil's taken over, Ken.
You see, the thing, I agree with what you're saying here, Andre. I agree with you here. Now, the thing is here, we are talking here about eternity. Who told us about hell? Jesus. Who warned us about hell? Jesus. Who explained to us the punishment in hell? Jesus. Who died for our sins on the cross?
Jesus.
Don't go to hell. Jesus. Not one of them stood up.
But can you imagine going to the governing council in Saudi Arabia and all of them standing up going, let's just ignore the Quran, screw it.
I know.
I mean, that wouldn't happen, would it?
No, I know.
And actually, and I have to say, I mean, I worry about this. And you know, I was saying the other day, we've got this uncontrolled immigration. Everyone's going, it's because the birth rate's so low. But the pregnancy rate isn't that low. The birth rate is low. I mean, look, whatever way you look at it, there is a secular argument for being anti-abortion now, which is we just need more pregnant women.
But also some cultures will go, oh, it's a girl, I don't want a girl. They'll have a doctor who's from their culture and they'll go, yeah, don't worry, we can get rid of that. And this is sort of...
I mean, I have to say, even with, and I'm sure Ken will agree with this, I have to say, I agree with those Down syndrome campaigners who were saying the fact you can abort a Down syndrome child up until the moment of birth.
Terrible.
So this is the worst bit. If it hasn't stuck its head out of the woman's body, you can decapitate it, crush it, and suck it out with a vacuum cleaner.
It's a disgrace. It is murder, isn't it?
That could be 5 minutes before birth. I mean, look, I know that you're in favour of abortion.
I am.
Danielle.
But not to 9 months.
But your support is a very, very different support.
Yeah.
But let's let Ken respond to that.
I know a kid that was born 24 weeks and he's fine. That would now be, you know, that's the law, 24 weeks. And, you know, kids born 24 weeks are fine.
But 24 weeks was the law, still under special circumstances.
Right.
It's not just a standard.
The God of the Bible, the God of this country, has departed from the Houses of Parliament. Since 1967, bad Britain, we're no longer Great Britain, we're now bad Britain. Since 1967, our governments have legalised the sin of sodomy, they've legalised the sin of baby killing and abortion, they've now legalised self-murder, and the next one they will be attacking to change will be, they will legalise paedophilia. That's the next one they'll go for.
Well, I think
tried that before.
I think what they've also done is they've failed to criminalise. Well, it's not incest, but first cousin marriage is causing a significant problem. I don't know if you know, but if you are born of Bengali parents, you are 16 times more likely to have a birth defect. It's got nothing to do with genetics. It's got everything to do with inbreeding.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, in fact, if you don't mind, before I go here, before you cut me off here, and I appreciate the time, I want to just say to everybody, I'm not a madman, I'm a sinner saved by the grace of God. We are headed for the judgment of God. What we see happening right now in Ukraine, in the Middle East, especially in Israel, all signs pointing to the second coming of Christ. And when he comes this second time, he's coming in judgment. He's coming to judge the world for sin.
Well, we're going to be in trouble then. We are really in trouble.
And to establish the kingdom of God on earth, we need to waken up and seek the Lord. God loves us, but if we reject God and his son Jesus, the Messiah, the Bible says we will all go to hell. Don't go to hell, folks. God loves us. Waken up, everybody. Read the Bible. Pray to God tonight. Ask for forgiveness. Trust in Jesus.
Well, I've got to say to you, look, there are people who will agree or disagree with Ken. I think it is very hard to argue that in a Christian country, not one single member of Parliament made those points. Back next.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Well, now we're back. I'll tell you what I've been doing, because I'm here 2 days a week.
Yes.
So what I do is I come here Thursday, stay in a hotel nearby Thursday, then Friday I work all day, but then at 1 in the morning I finish. The first train to Manchester at 6 a.m, so I just sit up in the green room doing a bit of work, leave here at 5:30, get the train to Manchester.
I considered doing that a couple of times, but I thought the cleaners might come in and kick me out of the green room.
No, they won't.
Just stay in Alan Brazil's parlour.
I'm not joking. I considered it and thought, no, I can't wait that long. I can't wait till the 6 a.m. train. Of course he does, because he just does what he wants.
Yeah, OK. Paula is in Halifax. Paula, you're on Talk.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Paula.
Oh, hello, darling.
Hi, Paula. I heard you speaking to James earlier on.
Yeah,
phoned the show twice.
I did, but I've got a bit of a beef with what's it? You know who?
Ken.
I'll come back to you in a minute.
Yeah, we'll just wait here then.
Andre.
Yeah.
At the end of James's show,
yes.
Why did you say that was a bit dramatic?
I didn't say it was a bit dramatic. I said it was a
You
bit
did?
morbid. No, I didn't say it was dramatic. I said it was morbid.
He said morbid.
I didn't say no. No, I think it's really important to just be clear that I did not describe James Wales dramatic. I described the show as a bit morbid.
But he is always dramatic, James Wales.
Well, no, but that fundamentally changes what I said. Had I said it was a bit dramatic, that would have been disparaging about the man's illness. By saying
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I didn't say it.
He didn't say that, Paula, honestly.
I said it was
said
morbid. Morbid.
I promise he did.
It was a phone-in about James Whale dying.
Get it on YouTube and you can rewatch
it. Well, forget about it.
I did forget about it because it didn't happen.
Obviously, I was wrong.
You were correct.
Yeah. Well, I accept it while I am.
No, don't worry about it. It's the problem is people hear what they want to hear, and if you slightly mishear something, it can cause problems.
No, it's not what I want to hear. You just came on show and said, "Oh, that were a bit dramatic."
No, I didn't say that. You see, I didn't say that. That's what you effectively said.
Listen, I believe you. I believe you.
You don't have to. It's online.
Right, Daniela.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
I can't believe you're back on.
I know. I just turned up and they let me on.
Although your security pass has been cancelled.
Although my security pass won't let me in anymore. How's your mum, Paula? Not good. How are you? Have you had bad news as well?
Yeah, it's been awful for Paula, actually.
Oh, bloody hell. Sorry, Paula.
We've really all brought the show down.
I know, sorry about that.
Last week, not this week, last week, I got told I'd got a brain tumour and early onset dementia.
Oh, Paula, I'm really sorry about that.
No, it's all right, love. It don't matter, does it?
It does matter, but I'm glad you rang us and you're chatting to us.
Yeah, well, I always do. And then last Saturday, I went for a CT scan, which was my yearly CT scan for my cancer for my kidney. And I got a letter text to me, you know, like they text it to you.
Yeah.
And
you have to click the link thing, yeah.
Yeah, that.
Oh.
And it said I had to go to discuss your results with the urologist.
So have you not been back yet?
No, well, it's obvious it's come back because I've got to go see a neurologist.
I'm sorry about that, Paula.
It never ends.
I know.
My mum's got a brain tumour. She was LGI other day, and there's me. Oh.
You've got a brain tumour as
horrible.
well, so how do you know
horrible.
that the brain tumour, you haven't got early onset dementia and it's the brain tumours that are causing these problems? Have you checked with your doctors about that?
Fair point.
I don't know, Ash, because actually I got a text message through saying that the consultant had looked at the tumour and said that he wanted to refer me to someone else.
Yeah, because it might not be you've got dementia. It might be because it can be similar symptoms with obviously brain tumour. It can be.
Well, I thought that, without being unkind to James, I could tell he were right forgetful tonight.
Well, he said himself, he has all that as well. Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting. So obviously sometimes James suffers from fatigue very badly and can't get through. I'll be honest with you, I think it makes so much more sense.
Well, tonight he did the whole hour. He hasn't done that for weeks, and he was fine for the whole hour. So that was great to see.
I personally think he made a mistake coming in all those weeks. It's just so.
Well, he realised that when he went in a couple of weeks.
Anyway, Paula, thank you so much. Oh,
well, that was depressing.
No, we don't have to go.
You're not allowed
we go
to
for a
say
break at
that.
45, don't we? So we don't have to go now. No good. Okay,
You've got
let's go to Ben
remember
in
to
Wigan.
say goodbye to me.
Oh yeah. Notes to
She'll
self.
be here all night. Yeah. Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, panel. How are you all?
Hello.
Good,
We're all
how
right,
are
man.
you?
We're all right, Bubba.
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. I'd like to ask Andrew a direct question.
Yeah.
About
shoot.
The assisted suicide.
Okay.
Of course, the guy that rang up before was
Let's keep it
talking
light.
about leaving it in God's hands. As a proud atheist,
Yep.
I would like to know why I should leave it in the hands of somebody that can't be proven exists.
Yep.
Rather than going to a hospital or a clinic or a specialist who says you've got 6 months left to live.
Yep. Okay, well, that Ben, first and foremost, I think that was precisely the point that was made in the House of Commons today, which was the rebuke to Ken's point. And effectively, what the debate boiled down in the House of Commons was, it said, well, hang on a second, just because you are against euthanasia, why shouldn't it be an option for me? Now, actually, my argument against euthanasia it is more to do with its effect on society. So I think that even though it's inspired by... So first of all, should you suffer at the end of your life in worship of something you don't believe in? No, you shouldn't. That would be ludicrous. I think actually Christianity is in many respects more about community than it is about anything else, and it's more about family. And I think that the concerns that we're raising are not actually that you will go to hell if you ignore us. It's much more that our society itself is undermined by having poor elderly care, poor palliative care, and poor support for people when they are older. And I think that...
But within Christianity, suicide is a sin.
Yeah.
The thing is, you don't have to be religious you can be an atheist and think it's immoral to off people or to kill babies.
So let me just be very clear on one thing.
Suicide is a sin.
Yeah.
In order to take your own life is a sin.
I've got to be honest with you. There was a time when people who first of all died before they were baptised as babies, and secondly, people who'd taken their own lives were buried outside graveyards in unconsecrated ground, unmarked graves, and weren't allowed Christian funerals. I'm strongly of the view that is disgraceful and just adds insult to injury is the wrong phrase. It doesn't go far enough. But look, Ben, I think you make a reasonable point, and I can understand as an atheist. Unbelievably, Ken has phoned in to answer your question. So let's just keep it respectful, obviously. But Ken, Ben asks a very specific question. Why should your religious beliefs be foisted on him at the time of his death when he doesn't believe God exists?
Well, that's a good point for the gentleman to bring up, but we're allowed to freedom of religion in this country. You can believe in an explosion. The atheists believe in the Big Bang Theory, but the question for the atheists is what exploded, and how can this mystical explosion wonderfully design this?
Ken, there is a major problem with that argument. if creation requires a creator, then who created the creator? What I mean to say is this: if you say, well, if the universe started with a Big Bang, what caused the Big Bang? Then I can say back to you, if the world started with God, who created God?
Who created God? Yeah.
Who's God's God?
God is no creator because
No, but the problem is, if you're saying that creation requires a creator, then the creator himself must have been created.
Hoisted by your own petard.
So I don't agree with that argument. I'm just saying.
Okay, now you're entitled to that, but everything that is created has to have a creator. But God has no creator. Nobody created.
Well, where did he come from then? It's the same as the Big Bang thing, isn't it? You saying you can't.
That's faith, I have faith in God.
But on the more basic level. So imagine this situation, Ken. So at the moment, you are arguing for a religious position, and as you know, it's a position I agree with. So let's just be clear here, right? And actually, Ben's been quite fair because I think it's pretty clear that we're all pretty anti-euthanasia here, as is Ken, and Ben's phoned up with a legitimate point.
I don't know. I'm not necessarily.
You're not necessarily against
Not necessarily.
But let me make this point, Ken.
I am.
What happens? So give me a second. What happens?
I can see Ben's
Give me a
point.
second. What happens, Ken, if you were in a country where the governance of social issues like that were designed by Buddha or by Allah or whatever? Would you say that it is the right of the religious in Vietnam to say that Buddhism should be what everybody follows? Do you see my point? So what Ben's saying is, why should Christians in Parliament voice their opinion on me? If Ken, you were transferred to Saudi Arabia, would you make the same arguments in favour of Muslims foisting their opinions on you?
Yeah, but the MPs in the Houses of Parliament are in a building, in a political situation which was established on the teachings of the Bible and God and his Son, Jesus Christ. So
okay, we got 2 minutes. Ben, do you want to respond to that? Because to be fair, the bloke has phoned up, but we've not given you a lot of time.
It's okay, okay, Ben.
It's very easy for us to be able to say now that we're a Christian country. But the bottom line is, we're not.
Well,
hang on, Ken, give him a second.
Oh, sorry.
When you look at the different sentences that are imposed upon people, we're not. Now, I am against euthanasia. I don't like euthanasia at all. But the right to be able to end your life should be left with you, and not, in my opinion, a magical man in the sky.
Well, the concern, but there is also the practical concern about the fact that it's not being left with you under this current bill. But I accept your point. I mean, can I ask you this question, because it's something we've debated on this show. By the way, thanks a lot, Ken. Let's leave Ken there. Ben, I want to talk to you for a second and just ask this question. Do you accept what I would say is a point that Asher Gould has pushed forward multiple times, which is to say that even if you are not a Christian, Christian values have made Britain what it is today. Ergo, even though you're not a believer in God, actually you are fundamentally culturally Christian.
150%.
You agree with that, yes?
100%.
Yeah.
150%.
He more than agrees with it.
But we have to accept at some point that that's been lost.
Yeah.
Either if we live by Christian law and Christian rules, then everybody now, in reality, should be at civil war. Because what's happening in different places by different people in the different protests don't live by.
I'll tell you what we're going to do, Ben. Let's keep Ben until after the break, because we haven't had lots of time to speak to him. He's got a really interesting point. I'm going to say to you, Danielle, I will see you in the Royal Enclosure. Your first year as a member of the Royal Enclosure. And who nominated you?
You.
Your Uncle Dre. Your Uncle Dre did it.
Uncle Andre side out.
I will text you later to tell you what time I'm setting off.
Okay.
And we will see you in the Royal Enclosure in Ascot.
And hopefully see you soon.
And we'll see you straight after the break.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hang on a second. I've just discovered something which I didn't know because I've not been in the building much this week. You are the new guest. You are the new, not guest, co-host of What Just Happened.
Well, I had a probationary period, and it was good. Yeah, I did it yesterday with Kevin Samara. Yeah, it was good fun.
So is it the same people on every week?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, yeah, that's how it is. And don't worry if you missed it tonight, because it's from 10 a.m. tomorrow. It's going to be on. Run the promo. Let's have a look at it.
Prince Harry just going around people's houses, buzzing, going, "Will you be my friend?" I mean, I think that's right. It wasn't drugs or anything.
Well, they say he was practising to be a Deliveroo driver because that'll be his next
He'd
job.
be good at that, yeah.
She also revealed that she plied the Netflix executive with that jam time after time until apparently the Netflix executive said to her, "Oh, Megan, you should turn this into a business idea." It's like sort of get off my front doorstep, thank you.
I mean, have you ever heard worse claptrap than that? My friend said the jam make me happy. What on earth is she talking about?
So that's 10 a.m. tomorrow, British Greenwich Mean Time. So if you're in America, a few hours back.
The easiest thing to do is either subscribe on YouTube, but the other option is follow at Virtual Ash, and you will tweet it in the morning, won't you?
Well, probably not in the morning, but when I get up.
All right. OK, so before the break, Ben from Wigan was explaining that whilst he thinks that probably his views have been heavily influenced by Christianity, he's a proud atheist, but also sounds like he's got some sympathy with the anti-abortion and anti-euthanasia gang, but he just doesn't believe that Christianity should be stuffed down our throats. Ben, do you not accept that there's an argument for saying if we don't stand up for our culture, it will be replaced? And I don't know if you know, but, oh God, quoting Vladimir Putin, but Vladimir Putin's view is that if you don't stand up for Russian things, including the Russian Orthodox Church, then it will be replaced with something else. Now, that could be uncontrolled immigration, that could be Hinduism, Islam, it could be whatever. But fundamentally, if you don't stand up for your own culture, your own religion, your own background, then it's not a case of multiculturalism. What will happen is you will be replaced. Ben, what do you think?
I completely accept that that's right, and we should be doing that. Now, I grew up as thinking that Christianity was the right way by doing things in school like the Nativity.
Yes.
Learning about God, learning about Jesus and whatnot. It's only as I've become an adult that I've decided that I don't believe that and why I don't believe that.
Yeah.
But you can't suddenly decide when you're going to dip into Christianity law or not. If we're going to call ourselves a Christian country, then we have to stick by Christian law.
But legally we are a Christian country, but I accept the point you're making about it, but walking away. But look,
if you went to Saudi Arabia, they don't just say, "Oh, well, legally we're..."
No, the Quran is their constitution. They literally are an Islamic nation.
Why is that not ours then?
One thing that I've been quite not inspired. I've noticed Jewish friends over the years who essentially. There's gradients of Judaism. Sorry, there's no gradients of Judaism. But you see people. Some people are very interested in family. Some people are interested in community. And there's a large number of quote-unquote Jewish atheists, which of course sounds to us as Christians very contradictory. But what they're interested in is the traditions of the tribe, if you like, of building their family and whatever. And I personally think that whether you are a believer in God or not, within the Christian faith, that is a good thing, right?
Well, that happens in this country with Christianity. People, they might not believe it, but you still, because it is a moral foundation, isn't it? It's just sense. A lot of it is common sense.
But you get the sense that Jews are better at keeping people together in the community.
Well, I suppose because of all the troubles that they've had in the past, I suppose it drives people together. I mean, they say the one thing, if you want the Jews to die out, leave them alone. So it's the constant hassle that they get for over 1,000 years that makes them stronger. You know what I mean? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. If you left them alone, they disappear, assimilate.
I mean, it's interesting, actually, the way that Israel's kind of much more secular, simply because, I'll give you an example, really good example. I had a female friend of mine who was really really into Judaism, right? But she was a big believer in it. But her mum was non-Jewish. I don't know if you know, obviously Asha does, Judaism is considered to go down the female line. So if Asha married now a non-Jewish woman, the kids would
But
not...
they can convert fully, so anyone can become it.
So all she did was just move to Israel, where, you know, you can just pull and nobody cares, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, if you look...
I want to ask you guys now and leave it with you. Why... My mum is also an atheist.
Yeah.
Why should she be punished for helping me end my life if I've been told that I'm going to spend the next 6 months...
Well, here's
neither of us believe in your God.
Well, OK, that's fine. However, I throw this back at you. This whole debate started when somebody made the point, Ken made the point, that actually a belief in God was not something listed in the House of Commons debate as a reason to oppose the bill. That is the starting point of this.
And there are born-again MPs, like you said, and they didn't even speak up.
My argument remains, I'm deeply uncomfortable with assisted dying. I don't think it's necessary, but I'll tell you one thing more than anything else. Removing the safeguards. I mean, Asha was going, slowly but surely, it'll be a slippery slope. It didn't even take 3 weeks before the slippery slope was slipped.
Before they just started changing the act they were going to vote.
What you're essentially saying is if you change the safeguards, then that would be okay.
What I'm saying...
I've got ability to make my own decisions, and I ask that my mum's there to help me, why should your God tell me?
No, well, hang on. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're going to do this, then you need the proper safeguards in place. But I will tell you, the biggest safeguard of them all, as far as I'm concerned, is quality palliative care for the elderly and real thought about protecting and supporting our hospice system. And I believe that nobody needs to die in agony with proper medical treatment.
But also, you can't trust the state. I mean, look what's happened in the last, 20 years. You cannot trust the people. They don't do what we want and they don't care about us, and you can't trust the people.
But if you were talking about...
You are both not against doing it. You're both saying that...
No, we are.
I'm against
we are against doing it because we don't think it's the best way to look after people in the last few days of their life. But the point is, I would always say, well, if it's going to go through, there needs to be safeguards. I mean, if you were to say to me, we could create all the safeguards in the world and make this completely voluntary and whatever, I would say to you, I still don't think it's a great idea, but at least you've got the safeguards in place.
But they changed the side when they got rid of hanging. They said, don't worry, everyone who murdered will be locked up for life, and life will mean life. Of course, that went out the window, and that goes everything with everything.
What about this? The law of the land says, and people will laugh at this, the law of the land says that you can only have an abortion in this country if there is a significant risk to mother or child of serious injury.
Andrew, the law of the land also says you can't have a child out of wedlock.
No, it doesn't.
And we've got the biggest amount of single mothers in the world.
It's not illegal.
So
no, it doesn't. No, literally, the doctor signing off your abortion is supposed to have certified that there will be a significant risk to your health of this pregnancy going through. Now, I will say, the number of women dying in childbirth has reduced, but it's not reduced by that number. This was intended for people who were literally going to be killed by the pregnancy, and now, 1 million a year or whatever it is, abortions take place.
No, I'm talking about the women that have children before marriage.
Well, that's not illegal. OK, but Ben, I'm only cutting you off because we do want to go to Michelle, and we're getting to the end of the show. Brilliant caller, by the way. Thank you so much.
Nice one.
Michelle is in Liverpool. Michelle, you're on talk.
Hi Ash, hi Andre, how are you both doing?
We're all right,
okay?
Michelle.
Doing well.
How's things?
Good, great show by the way. I was talking about the assisted dying bill, following on from what the fella was saying there. I'm very much pro-choice, I'll be honest with you. So everyone's got a choice in what they want to do in life.
What about, what are you talking about, what about the baby? It's like 8 months and... an innocent living
I'm gonna
human.
This is where I'm going to come to. It's how you legislate. I don't believe in killing a kid.
Miss Lily Savage.
Yeah, I don't believe in I don't believe it.
Can I ask you this question? Michelle, let me ask you this question. I think I'm with the Down syndrome people, the Down syndrome campaigners, rather, not Down syndrome people. There's lots of them. Down syndrome.
You're down with the Down syndrome people.
The Down syndrome campaigners who are saying the ability to abort a Down syndrome child up to the point of birth is a disgrace. Now look.
Oh no, listen. I had a cousin. She was 13. She died. She asphyxiated. I'm not going down the morbid route here. I love her to death. But
yeah, I know. I used to know a guy with Down syndrome. They enjoy their life. Why is it up to us to decide for them?
Yeah, but you're not listening to me.
No, sorry.
She was aborted. She wasn't aborted. So I'm saying I'm pro-choice. I'm talking about.
Yeah, but she might have had a great life up to 13, won't she? Anyway.
I'm talking about let's say the elderly. If we legislate.
Yeah, but then it will be hospitals deciding when it will come out of their choice.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you. This whole secular,